Well, that was quite a mess you did there, buddy. And knocked all that stuff down. Oh, give it a second. I'm already in it. So hello one, hello all. Whenever you get to watch this, this is the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your host. Eight Wind is timeless. I am the holder of the continuous ball game of the Hero Twins. I am your galactic daddy-o, sitting on my galactic patio. From Minnesota to the universe, we reaching out, pushing this funk everywhere. Come one, come all. Let's activate with a little sound. All right. Well, tonight, as always, we're going to do a commercial break. And this is Sierra Nevada Wonderland Ale. If I'm not mistaken, this is 7.5% alcohol. Quite strong. So, y'all, smoke them or pop them if you got them. Smoke them if you want them. Bottoms up. That is a fine, crispy IPA. Who has joined me? The one, Aggie Pride. Hey, did you see the Aggies play tonight? Yeah, Aggie did the thing on my hometown. Yeah, they put it on them tonight. But do you know what? They're going to have to play them one or two more times. Did you see that? They're going to have to play them at least one more time. But I'll tell you what I was impressed with, and I haven't spent a lot of time down at Central's campus, but I was impressed by their basketball facility. I was very impressed with it. I never, watched it before. And again, I only played down there one time, maybe my sophomore year, because my senior year they played us at home. Well, I'm trying to think, my sophomore year we played them. Yeah, we played them twice. So we played them down there, and then we played them in the Gold Bowl. Supernat. You ever heard of Supernat? I know that's an old name, but Supernat. I can't think of his last name. But he played with Central then, and he played with me when we was playing with the Carolina Storm, and then he played briefly, I think, for Cincinnati. But facilities top notch since they became D1. Okay, they building up like crazy. I tell you what. They done tore all the dorms down that I lived in. I lived in Holt Hall twice, 2 years, and then I lived in Scott Hall my last year, and all that shit's tore down. They didn't even save the bullets from the riots at Scott Hall, which I mean, who would have not saved that? So, I was impressed. Like I wouldn't even know A&T. I wouldn't even know A&T now. They built up so much new just watching this stuff. So it's good though. It's good. I mean, when I went to A&T had 5,000 students. Now, I grew up around Western Michigan that always had at least 15 to 20,000, if not more. And so the A&T was like a little bitty college, but now A&T is up to like 15, 16,000 people. So it's doubled since I went there. So, yeah, I would probably feel like I know we took my great-grandfather. My great-grandfather was one of the first American Indians to graduate from Michigan State. And we took him down there when he was 88 or 89. And I know it looks so different to him after not being there. Matter of fact, his diploma, it's not even called Michigan State. It's something like Michigan Agricultural something, but it's basically Michigan State today. That's what it turned into. But that's how long before that he had went there. And it was just funny. It wasn't much there. I was like, this is a lot of walking for this old boy, but hey, that's what they wanted to do. And they honored him. They honored him when he went back down there. They honored him being a graduate. I think at the time he was the oldest graduate of Michigan State at the time. So that's why they brought him down there. I think he went, Had to be around the 1880s. No, it'd probably be like the mid 1890s that he went to Michigan State. So Central alum type serious about getting that school on the map. Hey, Crazy Sarge, that's good though. That's good. That's good that that the people are coming back and helping them. That is really good to make these facilities top notch. I mean, again, the sports are able to compete. So, how you end up naming this show? That's a Parliament Funkadelic song. You know, George Clinton says, "Doing it on Chocolate Mountain." So that's how I came up with it. Yeah, that's an old. Trying to think if it might be if you hear any noise, it's just me and the boys. He might say that. I'm not sure which song he says that, but that's a Parliament. That's a George Clinton. That's a George Clinton song. Yeah. Let me show y'all some goodies. So you know I be messing with Sharkies. And I mean, this shit lasts forever, guys. I put this shit in there a month ago and I ain't even touched it. I ain't even touched this in a month. But today, now this is called crumble. This is and where they whip up and make the butter and then they press the butter. Easier to work with. But my guy came with this real deal here. And this is what they call splatter. That's splatter. You can see where the press mark is still in it. That's splatter. This is about 6-7 grams. The difference between splatter and just wax, wax would be flatter on the paper, not quite consistent. This is a little easier to work with. And this is the Gorilla Glue. So I've been staying funky. So let me tell you what I've been going on my last couple days. It's been a trip. So yesterday, I go to the University of Minnesota. Now let me tell the whole story. So about 2 years ago, my daughter, we took her to the dentist. She had a couple fillings. We're gonna fill them right away. So my daughter's in the dentist's office, hollering, screaming, bloody murder. I mean, she wouldn't even let the dentist just numb her up. She's just panicking, her and her mother, they're just panicking and she's screaming and the doctor was like, okay. So the only place, what they figured out is they probably had to put her on laughing gas. She probably wouldn't be able to take it while doing laughing gas. So for a whole year, I'm talking to the orthopedic, the pediatric orthopedic at the University of Minnesota. So I kept sending paperwork and they kept telling me, we can't make an appointment till you send me the paperwork. Kept sending the shit. Nothing happened. So finally, after about a year of sending this shit over and over again, they called me back. They was like, okay, we're sorry. You've been sending it to the wrong place. Send it to the other pediatric, because it's two of them. And so I sent it to them. So I'm about to make an appointment and I'd made an appointment and then the COVID shit hit. So this is a year ago. After trying to do this for damn near a year and a half, almost 2 years. So I get her in there. So finally get to go to the university. Everything opened back up. So we go to the university. They don't give me an address. They just give me, well, no, let me take that back. They gave me an address and the lady said, this is the address to the parking route. Now, I don't spend a lot of time at the university. I haven't even been to a basketball game. I've been to plenty of football games, but I just don't really know it. So I made my way into the parking ramp. I go into the parking ramp. There's like 3 or 4 buildings because here it gets cold. So a lot of stuff is you can go underground or they have bridges that just go to the shit. It's connected to like 3 buildings. I have no idea where I'm going. I see a sign and then there's call buttons in the parking ramp. Nobody's responding. I see a sign, we're trying to get in this door. The door is locked, so we can't get in. So I really don't even know where I'm going because they didn't tell me other than how to go to the parking ramp. Finally saw a campus police officer. He shows me how to go in. And it's a zigzag and all that. And I was about to just tear the place up. I was just so frustrated. Again, I was there. It took me like 20 minutes. I'm there early and it took me 20 minutes just to somebody to show me where the hell to go. So then we go in there and turned out fine. But I had to go back down today. So I had to go back today. So my daughter she only had a half day today. So I had to go back today. So I live about 35 minutes away. Well, maybe 30, about 25, 30 minutes away. So it's a nice little trip to go into the city. So she has her thing, and then they tell me I got to do it damn again. So I had to drive all the way back there again today, and she had the procedure and everything worked out. I got to take her even back again. So I was hating that place yesterday, hated it a little less today since I kind of knew where I was going. But that's the kind of frustration that I had to do yesterday. Oh, and that's not all. So I don't know if y'all remember. I think this was Saturday or Sunday night. I dropped clean the cat's litter, and sometime I don't take it to the trash. I just leave it on the outside door, outside the apartment building. The owner, apparently because no evictions, people just shitting, the dogs shitting everywhere. So the owner, I know he doesn't care. I mean, you ain't saying nothing about them shitting all over, then you don't care about me leaving a little cat poop. But when I'm out there, it's just tons of police, just everywhere. So tons of police, the fire emergency, 2 ambulances, and I see a damn gurney about to, not a gurney, but yeah, taking out the gurney out the ambulance, and they about to get a person. So I find out that my neighbor the next day, she said, what? And it was like state out there. It was county people out there. So it was just a plethora of just vehicles, different police vehicles. So come to find out, what my neighbor said, she said, the only time I see that kind of thing, she said, when somebody died. So I was like, wow. I said, did you know anybody? She said, no, I didn't know anybody. So I talked to the people in the apartment underneath, and they said they heard a boom, and that's all they could say. They didn't even know. So I talked to the apartment owner, the building owners, and he said that somebody died over there. And check this out. A guy, he had some people in the apartment putting some carpet up at night. I don't know anybody that puts carpet up at 9, 10 at night, but hey, I guess anybody you pay that's willing to do it, whatever. So apparently 2 dudes is in there putting in carpet, and for some reason their buddy visits them. The buddy's there for about a half hour, and the buddy falls out and dies right in the damn apartment. Can you imagine that? You drive somewhere just so you can fall out and die. You would think that there was some kind of warning that, he wasn't feeling good. Maybe I should go home or go to the hospital. No, he goes up in his apartment. He goes into the apartment and he dies up there. So, and it reminds me of another story. I had a friend, dude, actually, I bought my first house from back in 87, 88. The guy always would tease that his sister got cancer, but this dude was probably a 3-pack of cigarettes a day dude. Might have been around my age. I don't know. His wife was younger, but I want to say he might have been a year or 2 older than me. Not much. But he was a couple packs a day dude. Matter of fact, he was booming. Last time I dealt with him, he had bought 2 houses. He had 2 houses, was identical. One house was just completely his, where he did his work. His family lived in the next one. This dude got to feeling bad. The hospital wasn't no more than 7-8 minute drive. Instead of calling an ambulance, this brother drives to the hospital, and his heart basically explodes when he gets to the hospital. Had a heart attack and died instead of calling the ambulance. So it kind of reminded me of that dude. So, let me see who joined. Ziggy, they're about to start issuing vaccine passports. Just me and the band. William. I'm just in time. How everybody doing? Thank you for joining. Did you see Meek Mill's rap about Kobe? I heard about it, but didn't really hear the line, so not really. Heard about it, but didn't hear it. Did not hear. I've heard someone mention that, but I didn't hear what he said. Somebody was saying, was it about a dead cat? Was it yay or nay? Using Kobe's name since he's passed. So maybe Wiley and them was talking about it, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So no, I haven't heard it. Picked up a lot of new music, but no, I didn't hear that one. Didn't hear that one at all. So you guys will have to inform me about that. Have to inform me. So I haven't caught a lot of that. Don't really catch a lot about like I don't really catch about talking about cats like that. I don't really catch a lot of that. That don't really get my interest every once in a while, but nah. And I don't watch MTV or any of that or whatever they would come on to see. And I didn't hear it. The radios or nothing played it. I'll say this though, on iHeartRadio, Moray made made the top 100. So they've been playing on radio, playing Moray stuff, Quicksand. So have you ever? Yeah, you asked that. No, I have not ever seen them fall out. I have not ever seen anyone fall out. And might have not caught that kind of thing because there have been times where dudes are messing with something, but never paid close enough attention to notice that kind of thing. So no, I have never saw them fall out. But I'll say there's been times there have been gestures. Well, I think another example is J.R. Smith when he gets the rebound. And then J.R. Smith says, I thought we was up. He ain't stupid. He was told he was up and dribble out. So that's why you see J.R. Smith dribble out. So no, but we have to all look closer for that to see if we ever catch something like that. Again, the clear ones, there's a commercial where they show that you can wear, and they ain't even hearing aids. They just amplifiers, and they show you the size of them now that you can't even tell. Can't even tell. The old things where the little wire comes from that. They don't even need that anymore. Where the wire is running from that to that. They don't even need that anymore. So no, I have not, but I'll pay a closer attention to it too to see, because it might have been some problems like that before when they messing with their heads and stuff, or even you catch when the contacts come out. Sometimes the contacts is out. So I'm gonna definitely try to pay more attention to catch that kind of thing, because it has to be in some kind of tape. Has to be. Now football wouldn't. I mean, they could put it in the helmets just like they do the quarterbacks. It's the little big head man and egghead man in the room, and they could turn the helmets off and on again. For 30 seconds, they can talk to them until the very last second. Same offense, the same defense. It doesn't make sense. And this is the other thing. Is like, why do they put the little tab on the quarterback's helmet? I don't know if the tab is on the defensive player's helmet, but they've always put that little tab. And we know they've been having communication with the quarterback since the 60s. Trying to think, was it what's the writer's name? Paper Lion. I think that the first time they do it is in the early 60s, where they actually put a radio walkie-talkie, like they put the speaker in the dude's helmet. I mean, a walkie-talkie speaker in his helmet. And there was a whole that I bet that's on NFL films. I just say George Plimpton and Paper Lion because it had to be around 62, 63. I know Plimpton, the first time Plimpton did it was in the late 50s, I think. He did another one in the 60s, but the first time he did it was in the 60s, where he went to camp and went through it and all that up to a preseason game. So a green sticker on the QB's helmet. Yep. What's happening, Tiger Strong? I'm 100% on board with your Nets Clippers prediction. Oh, yeah. All right. I'll break that down with everybody too. So here we go. Okay, so this is how you got to look at it. In the East, there's only really 5 teams that can win. It's going to be the Bucks, Sixers, Boston, Heat, and Nets. Now, what you have to look at is each team. You got to really look at their Q ratings or their popularity ratings, if that's easier to understand. And so, if you go by every team, so let's look at the Nets. So Irving doesn't really have a high rating. He's almost neutral. Even Durant doesn't really have a high rating. I'll give Durant just a plus. I'll give him a plus. But I mean, he's just barely a plus. So do you see how they would look at it? That's how they're looking at it. What would be the ratings there? Now, if you take the Warriors and the Bucks, you have to look at, again, who do we have? Giannis. That's it. For a power rating, it's just Giannis. Everybody else is pretty much negative. Where you go with the Warriors, you got Steph, you got Green. That Kelly dude is playing better. Wiggins still has a positive rating, especially since he's been there. So to carry it, you look at the Bucks and the Warriors, it doesn't make sense because of the popularity and looking at getting sponsors for that. I break each team down. Now the problem with the Clippers the Clippers have the same problem. The Clippers have no one that has a positive ratings. I mean, you can't really say Leonard. Leonard is neutral at most. Again, I think that cat is autistic. George is neutral to negative. So if you looked at Warriors, Bucks, you got just a negative basically on the Bucks. You got a neutral in Giannis and the rest negative. You got the Warriors. So even if so we stay on the Bucks. So if you go Clippers, Bucks, how are they selling that? How are they going to sell the Clippers and the Bucks? You got two teams with basically negative ratings. It would never work. Lakers, Bucks, the Lakers would raise them. The Lakers would raise the Bucks. But is that enough to get people's interest? I'd count that out. Jazz, Bucks, double negative, definitely not. And then it would come with, so then the next team would be the Sixers. So you look at the Sixers and the Warriors. Now, the Sixers and the Warriors make sense because actually what you would have is you would have the Warriors that Wilt used to play with, and then you would have the Sixers that took their place. Now, the Sixers have a little bit of power with Doc. Doc gives them the plus ratings. Embiid, like him or not, he has a slightly plus ratings. Ben Simmons has the negative ratings. So, but that kind of works. If you look at the Sixers and the Warriors. Then if we move to Boston and the Warriors, this is why Boston and the Warriors work. Boston and the Warriors work because it's, again, Bill Russell and Will Chamberlain reactivated. And so the Warriors would be more of a positive ratings compared to you would have the Sixers, which again, it would be the Wilt. I've lost my place. So yeah, it would be, so you, again, with the Sixers and Warriors kind of work because of the Wilt thing. I think I lost my place. But the one that really, Lakers, so the Lakers and Sixers would work because, again, you have two teams that have more of a positive rating. You have LeBron and you have Davis more with positive, Doc and Embiid with positive. So that would kind of work. The other one we'd have to look at would be the Warriors in Boston. The reason why the Warriors in Boston works is because you have Curry positive, Green positive, and then you have Doc, and then you have what makes the ratings positive for this would be because the Warriors was Wilt, and then you have Boston, that rivalry. So that is why that works. The same reason why the Lakers and the Sixers work. Now, next we would have to compare Jazz Nets. Again, that ratings doesn't work. Jazz, so we would have Lakers Nets. Because again, it would be just the positive ratings of the Lakers with neutral to negative ratings. I would say neutral with Irving, positive with Durant. That might work. But I just don't know if the Nets bring enough star power. Now, you said Nets and Clippers. Again, you just have more negative ratings. I mean, you have too many negative ratings coming from the Clippers. Could the positive rating of Durant carry that? I don't know. I mean, I think the rating of Durant is a little stronger than Leonard's, where Leonard is barely positive, almost neutral. George is definitely negative. So if you look at the Nets and the Clippers, again, they're looking at making money. How does that work? How does that work? And then we want to consider Nets Warriors. Now the Warriors could carry that. Then we have the rivalry with Durant, which turns it into almost a positive. Again, Irving's neutral, which they could hype the two little guards, Irving and Curry, which could kind of turn Irving into from a neutral to a slight positive. So does that work? We have the rookie coach, Steve Nash, that's the rookie coach. Remember, the Warriors coach, he was a rookie, I believe, when he first won it. He took over Jackson, and I believe they won it the first year. So we would have the same kind of setup that the Warriors coach had his first year. So that is why it's a lot of positives in that as well. Nets Warriors. That's why that could work. Again, the Jazz, anybody you put them with, it just comes just the ratings nightmare. Does Boston and the Jazz work? Again, you have negative. Would Boston and the Clippers work? You don't have enough star power there. Again, we're working on negative. There's nothing to turn any of these negative or even the neutrals to positive. Again, can we go Boston and the Warriors, which would begin, you would see the Wilt versus. So that would make sense. Warriors, Boston. Now, Sixers, Jazz, just can't see how they're going to sell that. I don't think Doc can carry that. Sixers, Lakers would make sense. I think people would tune into that. Sixers, Clippers, again, you don't have a lot of personalities. There's nothing to turn the more negative Clippers into positive. Could we go Sixers, Warriors? Very much could go that. So these are the only 9 teams that have a possibility. But to me, the most positive, again, could be the Nets, Warriors, the Nets Warriors it could be because of the positive ratings, that because so many would turn positive, that might possibly work. Let me add that I was trying to remember who the Jazz the Stars won in Utah. I was trying to see who the Stars. I was trying to remember. Did they beat the LA? Did they beat the Oakland Oaks? I'd have to look that up again. I think they beat the Oakland Oaks, but I don't quite remember. That was the only thing that would raise the Jazz on that prior championship. And so, yeah, the Nets, I would say, so first, to me, it would be the number one moneymaker would be the Lakers and the Sixers. That would be the number one. My number one would be Lakers and Sixers. Number 2 would be Warriors, Boston. And my number 3 would be Nets and Warriors. Based on TV ratings, power ratings. So, and then I'll go over it again and see which 3 might make which 2 final 2. I heard somebody say that only 16 teams can win. That's a lie. It's only 8 or 9 teams that can win it. That's it. It's only 8 or 9 teams that can win it. My final 4 would be I would say my final 8. If I knocked anybody out of the East, I would say the Nets would knock out the Heat. The Nets would knock out the Heat. Kind of, it's more history with the Heat. And so that's what turns the Heat's negative ratings into positive because of the history. But the Nets and Heat, I got both of them pretty even, other than if the Nets was able to play the Warriors, it would raise them. That's the one thing that would raise interest in the Warriors. The Warriors-Nets would garner more interest than the Warriors than the Nets Lakers. Far as just who would raise each other. The Nets and Warriors would really raise each other. But again, going by history, again, Warriors Boston would be a good one too. But Lakers Sixers make the most sense far as number one. So that is kind of, and I'll out of those three, give me a little more time to look at some more because yeah, some more ratings I want to look at. So they did have the Nets Warriors first game. And next year, back-to-back badasses with Clay back. the fan glasses. LeBron Stain, who said? Where I just see Hardy. LeBron. Yeah, that's the thing with the Nets. And I forgot about Hardy. Again, Harding's ratings, he's almost a neutral. He's neutral to negative. He's neutral to negative far as power ratings. He's neutral to negative. He doesn't really turn the ratings around. He's, to me, Randy Moss with Brady. I just don't think, and I don't think if they don't win, I wouldn't be surprised he got moved again. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't get moved again. So we'll see. And did you see how they picked Paul instead of Booker? Come on. Luckily, he took AD's job. Yeah, Wiseman does look good, Samuel. Thank you for joining me. Warriors got a 40% of making final since they love Curry and want to sell the one to the youngins. Yeah. Nets over Knicks first round. Oh, that's a pretty nice pick. Wow. I think Warriors and Curry, they psyop. I'm down with the sales numbers, Tiger Strong. Nobody has Curry, Lakers psyop team. Watch, they're going to make Curry versus LeBron first round. No. I don't know. Like what they're doing now is they're putting the Lakers in the sleeper mode. That's kind of what they're doing. What do they call it? Sandbagging. I mean, looking at their game, they're sandbagging. It's clearly sandbagging, not playing as strong. And the Timberwolves lost. What they've lost 7 out of 8. They lost again tonight. Timberwolves lost to the Bulls. And everybody's pissed that they didn't give the job to the assistant. Which basketball has the most diversity of coaches. My alum partner was the first brother to coach a championship. Al Adels went to A&T. He was the first brother that had his jersey, his basketball jersey, retired from A&T. Met him several times. He had a couple guys, gave a couple A&T players. Doc, I can't think of Doc's last name, and Eric. I know both of them was out there for a minute. I don't think either one of them played long for it. A couple of A&T guys he took out there though, and of course he played with the Warriors as well. So that when I saw that thing break down of Al, that made me look at the Warriors a little different because just when looking at the way they highlighted Al made me think, wow, okay, they might be setting that up. But I do give the Nets a shot because, again, like Steve Kerr, first-year coach, Nash, first-year coach. Wasn't Eric Stromster, whatever his name was? Wasn't he in his first couple years? Didn't he win it as a first-year coach as well? So kind of looking at that too. Warriors need a better playoff seeding. Hopefully they slide up. I just got video deleted yesterday. I got my deleted talking about vaccines. They really don't want us to say it. Yeah, they don't. LeBron old as hell. He not even driving no more. Just standing shooting threes. Well, you get older. That's what Mike did. Mike went to Kyle Macy's fadeaway. Roy's hurt. Roy's aunt working. Bro, your Anthony Edwards shot video was wild, but now 8 can't find it. Really? It's still on there. It's still on there. I think they definitely shadow banned it a little bit because I know I put that out there before anybody. I know I did. I know I put it on YouTube before anybody. Now my group, I know I put that Tiger shit out there before anybody, and yeah, they didn't let that ride either. You know about Jackie Robinson Little League when
took the world championship and made them disband the league. I didn't know they rigged things and persuaded even on that level. Oh, well, don't get in Little League. Remember what happened in Little League. When Little League was bringing in Taiwan and the schools from Japan, they was dominating. That's why you see them not playing. That's why they make them play each other now. Remember when the young brothers out of was it Chicago that won it several years ago, and they lost the championship? They quit playing against the teams until the finals. They don't make the American teams compete against those teams into the finals because they was dominating. Taiwan won a bunch of years. So, and remember they had the boy that was pitching. He was like 35 pitching as a 12-year-old. Y'all remember that? Dude was like 16. Dude was 14 or 15. And they let him keep his championship. I think he ended up going minor league against 12-year-olds, and he was at least 13 or 14. I think he was 14 playing against 12 years old. And he had the fake birth certificates. And people was yelling the whole time. They interviewed his dad, and they brought the birth certificates. And his dad was like, yeah, this is the one I gave to him, and that's how old. And the boy was really 14. And they never took their title away. I don't know if y'all remember that. Tiger Woods is winning Masters. I don't know, y'all. They said he had multiple fractures. They put a iron bar in his leg. He ain't winning it no time soon. He had compound fractures, but they put an iron bar to put his leg back together. Multiple compound fractures. And as I reported on Facebook, I was putting it, at first they said he was in a Bentley, and I know why they said he was in a Bentley. If you looked on the door, there was a Genesis mark on the door. And the Genesis mark and the Bentley mark, I mean, they almost look identical. So I know that's why they reported at first it was a Bentley. But here's, it just doesn't, this is what doesn't make sense. Number one, why are you driving? Why are you driving? It would be a dude that would wait in the car all night outside of your hotel or house you stay in. And a lot of times they go into houses. And you never have to drive. So why was he driving? California roads are very winding. So why was he driving? The dude who lived out there that they had on, it was one of, I don't know if it's Fox or MSNBC. He lived out there. And he was saying it was 35, something like 35 through there. 35. I don't care how winding it is. And you know, he flipped in the car at least 3 times, two times for sure, at least 2 times. He flips down the ravine. Where you see him, he wasn't on that road. He was on the road up top. So, you know, there was a road down here. He came from up top. Now, they didn't show a lot of that road up there, but that's where he ran over the signs and shit. And the engine said, fuck it. He was tumbling, the engine said, fuck it. But I mean, the safety saved him. I mean, that thing got, what, 11, 12 airbags? He was seat belted. But in that much destruction, and again, what caused the momentum? I mean, I have a little bit, I took about 4 classes of accident, what do you call it? Redoing accidents. I've taken college classes for that through the police. Well, it was actually part of the police academy work, accident reconstruction. So I know a little bit about that. And because that's, if you saw them out there measuring and stuff afterwards, that's what they were doing. They were trying to reconstruct what happened. Again, they said he wasn't drunk. It's 7 a.m. He was going to the golf course. That car isn't crazy, or the truck is just it's the other Hyundai brand. Just they put the Genesis engine in it. So all that doesn't really make sense. Seems more like a hit to me. 2020. Wow. 2020. 2022. Yeah, he might not be working. They said it was fake and that he's actually fine. Yeah, they put a golf club in him. It'll make a great comeback story for Tiger. Stage crash to take him out of the sport. That made me wonder, because the story with the wife, I mean, think about the story with the wife. All people did in the history, not one person got in front of the world and said, I'm sorry for fucking hoes. They made this man get in front of the world and said, "I'm sorry, I like skanks." Did you see the pictures of them? Like they showed them in the Inquirer. It was one was skankier than the next. One chick claimed that Tiger would fly her to Australia. Now, Australia's got their own skanks. I don't know why he would be flying one there. What was so special that he couldn't find the same thing in Australia? But they had skanks coming out the woodwork. And this is what doesn't make sense. They said she went through his phone. Oh, come on. You rich, you pimping. You ain't got a couple phones. You that sloppy that just all your business is on one phone? That doesn't seem very likely. It was the biggest shaming probably almost all time. Remember, there's plenty of dudes got caught cheating on their wives. How many got a whole page of the women on there? It was like how they was falling out the woodwork with Bill Cosby, and he supposedly raped these chicks. So okay, that deserves all the names come up there, show us. This is just skanks he was with, and you telling me that's worth world story? Everybody should care about that. David, your story is not believable. Which part? and golf always needs a shot to make them relevant. But it just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Number one, rich dudes don't drive. That's the main thing. Rich dudes don't drive. They just don't. So, like, okay, look at it like this. He got $100 million yacht. Does he drive the yacht? He has an airplane. Does he fly the airplane? But by golly, he was in California and they gave him a new Genesis and he just had to drive that morning. It doesn't work like that. Anywhere that man wants to go, it will be somebody there happy to take him around. So that's the other part. Why all of a sudden he doesn't need a driver? Well, Bob, I'm just going to LA. It's just nothing. The golf course a few miles up. You don't change your habits. You don't change your habits. So yeah, it sounded, hey, T Gaming, thank you. Yeah, it's no video or photo evidence of him even being in the car. They said the car rolled, Rolling Hills Estate. There you go. All my business is on my phone. But you ain't got $1 billion, baby. You ain't got $1 billion, Mr. T. He had $1 billion. And you telling me he ain't have a phone like the skank phone? Come on. He ain't that sloppy. No one's that sloppy. He wouldn't have a skank phone with him. Well, I don't have it locked or anything. And I had my ex, she learned my little codes and shit. So I learned how to encrypt my shit. And she couldn't figure that shit out. But I mean, here's a man with all this money and he just got a simple phone. You can just turn it, just get into it. But then why did he have to apologize? He was giving up money no matter what. Now, Kobe bent a chick over. He bent a chick over and bought his wife a $3 million ring. And you know what she said? I think I can hang with you. And why didn't this little maid? And then tore the house down that he built for them. She tore it down. So like this maid, it just doesn't make sense. It sounds like, if anything, they set him up. I still think that he was professionally beat up and injured. He's never recovered from that beating. He really didn't have injuries before that. I think all the injuries he's had since was from getting his ass whooped professionally. And that's why he was probably trying to drive away. He probably half got away from him, but then he ran into the neighbor's tree or some shit. That doesn't sound like a crazy woman chasing you down the street with a golf club. That sounds like you're professionally being beat up. So that's what I've always felt, that it wasn't her. It wasn't her. Not doing all that to him. So I don't know. Celebrities have security and drivers. Yes. The car genesis is like a Bible story. It's coded. There you go, Tiger Strong. The Fed crashed. Yep. Again, I was gonna say it's the Genesis is nothing but is the big truck the Santa Fe? I couldn't remember which the Honda big truck. It's basically that truck with the Genesis stuff in it. So, and it's just the story. There's a lot of stuff. Yeah, the story ain't actually believable. Again, why are you driving? That just doesn't make sense. Well, I'm in California and I need to be independent, guys. And I don't just, I just give me one of them new Genesis. I'll drive it back and forth. And maybe they paid him and was going to give him a Genesis, or maybe that was his Genesis they was going to ship to him later. I don't know. But just doesn't seem likely. Tiger Woods was the distraction. Very well could have been. Very well could have been. I mean, Tiger is still golf. He's still golf. And they don't mind him being no good. Do you notice? Now, this is the thing that you notice about golf if you follow. Everybody gets paid. If you come in 100th place, you still get paid. And I didn't really pay attention to that until I had worked, used to be called the GGO, the Greater Greensboro Open. It's called something else now, but they still play in Greensboro. I know one of my ex-high school teammates lives down there, and he's a big golf enthusiast, and whatever it's called now, he's part of that. But for a lot of years, I worked for about 3 years, I worked for the GGO when it's called the Greater Greensboro Open. We work with the younger guys, and everybody gets paid. I mean, you may not get it paid as much, but you make money by being in the tournament. And a lot of times the top golfers get paid for just showing up. They get appearance fee, as they call it. So, but my point is, look at Phil Mickelson. This dude, since his whole career, if they don't fix the games for him, this dude be like 70th if he make the cut. If they don't manipulate the ball for Phil Mickelson, his whole career, he has been terrible except the championships he's won. I mean, this dude has been mediocre. Yes, he's won championships, but look at his total play. This dude been mediocre. You would forget about him. Look at the dudes, these young dudes they've been prepping up these last couple years. Look at how they've done. Who was the dude that was the young boy that won the Masters a few years ago by so much runaway? And then look at the rest of his career so far. It's like, now there's one filming thing I missed is I watched the game and they showed how many threes was missed this game. And I should have taped that because it's the same kind of thing. It was one of the few times where this team, Van Pelt and them showed they went for like 5 minutes without scoring. And Van Pelt they sped it up, but they went for like almost 5 minutes where no one scored. So do you think the baskets was on or off? And then you had the cat last week, the one that got traded from the Nets, their best defender, and he shoots 100%. Didn't miss a shot. Had 5 or 6 dunks, and he shot 100%. Like the 5th, 6th person to do that. Wilt did it a bunch of times, but he shot 100%. You guys see the Jazz? The Jazz made a record 22 threes or 20-some threes. Maybe it was 28 threes the other day. The Jazz will not win it. They will not win it. I would dare bet everybody that the Jazz won't win it because they're not going to let them win. They are not going to let them win. That ABA championship, that was the only one they're going to ever get. They just won't make money off of them. It's bad enough that people have to go to Utah. And I say that again, the players hate traveling there. You go to a club, and the club, you got to get a sponsor to buy a damn drink. So visiting teams, if things open up, and they're already talking about letting fans come to the game. What game was it? It was a game that it was thousands of fans, one of the basketball games. I caught the highlights, and I can't remember who it was, but it surprised me how many fans were in there. Maybe it was the Dallas game last night. It was a bunch of fans in there. They showed a different view. Like, normally they show you one view for basketball, and they showed a view of the side like one of the other cameras from the court side showed like camera side. There was a bunch of people in there. It wasn't people sitting like behind the bench, but the rest of the place was fairly packed. I was quite surprised when I saw that view. I was like, well, damn, it's a lot of people in there. So I saw that all they needed was 2 points. GME up to 1,000 again. Yep. Jay. Yep. Cadillac is OG luxury. First Tiger Woods related news. Escalade, Hyundai, and K trying to become new luxury. Second tire store was the first tore down, then wants to build it back up. Could have been. Did you see Nebraska stop mask mandate? I think I heard it. I wasn't paying attention, so I heard that. That's good. I did catch that. My partner hates Utah. He just does inventory. Utah fans about to go crazy. I think they setting up the Lakers comeback. Like I said, they would make them drop games. Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. Soja? Is that Soja? Jason, what's happening? You can't have fans at the Cavs games. You can have fans at the Cavs game. You can't hear yet. Not the Timberwolves. Seeing a lot of fans is surprising nowadays, and that's sad. 8, you know about gematria. Yes, I do. Normalizing. I was probably the 3rd person ever on Zach's Wednesday call show, which is tonight, and I forgot. And I might not even, since the new channel, and they erased all my stuff, I might not even be, I have the number to call in. I just, I do this. So, I don't want to take away from people that don't call, that don't have this. So it's not that I don't like supporting the show. It's just, I have this and I don't want to take away from somebody else's time. That's how I feel. It's not lack of support for them. So yes, absolutely know about gematria. Yes, I do know about it. Yep. I'm messing with my arm, guys, because they gave me an elbow sleeve that my therapist had, and it keeps rolling up with this shirt. So that's why I'm messing with it. I'm not a junkie. Be like, Ray Charles and shit. Ray was like, man, they was like, look at Ray. He's got to be on that shit. Ray's sitting there itching and shit. Look at Ray. Remember the shit about Ray Charles, the movie. Ray's in there and he's not caring. He's junkied off, scratching and shit. But I have a brace on my arm and it keeps rolling up on me. So that's why I'm messing with it. Hey, Renetta, thank you for joining me. I was in today and I was trying to get him to watch your video with the earbuds, but I couldn't get his attention. He never checks chat. No, he really doesn't. He really doesn't. Do you have a lamp in your room? Mr. T, do you have a lamp? I do. I have a salt lamp in my room. I turn it down at night. I keep it high in the daytime, but I turn it down at night. Yep, I do. I couldn't tell the earpiece in the video 8 when I must have had my brightness down. CJM, that's all right. If you can see it, you can. If you can't, then that's okay. I want different opinions. That's why I hesitated. I'm telling you, I froze it for almost a half hour. And then I finally got my children out to see what they said, because I was kind of like, man, I'd hate to put this out, but it just looked to me unnatural. And I'm pretty good with detail. That's kind of been my life through quality control. I'm pretty good with detail. Haven't seen far as I could take two things that look identical and could show you differences in each thing. I'm very good at that. So that's the only thing that caught my attention. And my TV, I need another TV. I'm give this TV to my son, so I definitely need another one. You seen how cheap they got like a 100-inch TV for like $29.95 at Walmart. Did y'all see that? So these checks must be coming because Walmart you can get a drive-in theater screen for about $200 now. It's like a 100-foot screen, and you can put it in your house or wherever you can put it. It's about $200. These big TVs are not expensive anymore. Big as you want it, it's affordable. It is affordable. So Walmart is getting ready. They must know something. These checks must gonna be coming next week, because Walmart, as soon as you walk in, cheap big TVs, cheap big smart TVs. Best Buy doesn't have a chance. And what did I say? TVs from Walmart are refurbished TVs. Don't forget that. They're not new TVs. They are refurbished because it's usually darker. Yeah, it's like I could get this TV fixed because it has turned off one of the black lights on my TV. It has turned it off, and I should have took it back in on warranty and just messed around and never did, and should have. The TV I have was and my sons, when I tell this story, they laugh, but this is how the TV is. The TV is set up wherever you sit the most, it gives the best picture. So if you sit on the angle the most, the best picture is going to be on an angle. If you sit in the center the most, that's when the best picture. And then if you sit, it's supposed to adjust to where you sit to give you the best picture and color and everything. And I don't know, the black light needs to be replaced. One of the black lights. The NBA will be weak when LeBron retires. It reminds me, like Tom Brady talking about he gonna play past 45. But I remember the 2 years or the year and a half that Jordan retired. And again, when I lived in Michigan, I had WGN. That was always, that's like local cable that you'll always get. Probably you live around Chicago and parts of Michigan, it ain't even a cable channel. It's just normal. It used to be when I lived in closer to Chicago in Cassopolis, Michigan, it was just a regular channel we got. When we lived in Kalamazoo, my father put up a tower so he could get that channel and the South Bend channel. And then, of course, when you got cable, WGN was the channel you got. So I watched all the Bulls games. So the ratings took a dip. They did. The NBA ratings took a dip. But I believe that I don't believe it. Jordan was suspended for a couple years. His betting was out of pocket. So they put him on ice. I think they will build up Zion when LeBron retires. I agree because they're getting a lot of national televised games. And they put a decent team around him. They have a better defensive coach. They show a little bit better defensive effort. They had some manipulation when they won that game the other night, though. David Stern said his decades ago, NBA is about making stars. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, that's what he did before really anybody. That's why he saw, because again, what David Stern took over was pretty much an all-black league. And you have to think about it. And then the merger, and they purposely put European players out of pro basketball. They purposely did that. They did not transfer very many European dudes from the ABA to the NBA. Offhand, I can't think of any. Again, Louis Dampier was the best shooter in the ABA's history. Didn't go over. Again, he played 10 years, so, probably was tired, didn't want to do all that. He played Kentucky his whole career for the Colonels. But he was one of the best players in the ABA, the best shooters. Didn't play in the NBA. Roger Brown didn't either. And Roger Brown smoked squares. I'm not sure how he passed. But yeah, I was getting my point about Stern. What Stern realized is, y'all remember this with Larry Bird. They drafted Larry Bird the year before. Remember, I don't know if you guys ever heard me talk about Ralph Sampson. The Lakers had drafted Ralph Sampson, and Ralph could have went right to the Lakers, and he decided to stay instead of going to play with the Lakers. I don't know if anybody remembers that. Now, you imagine with Ralph Sampson and Magic. But Larry Bird, they had drafted him the year before. So Boston knew they was going to get Larry Bird. And Boston at that time had Sidney Wicks, Curtis Rowe. I know for a minute, Bad News Barnes, Marvin Barnes was on the team. So they weren't very good. So he knew that Larry Bird. And then they traded for Chief. Chief was at Golden State. I think Chief started his career at Golden State. And he comes to the Lakers. And then they draft Kevin McHale. Dennis Johnson, DJ. Dennis Johnson, he's passed now. He was with Seattle and won a championship with Seattle. Now, I think when Danny Ainge quit playing baseball, they drafted Danny Ainge. That first year, they had Nate Archibald. Pistol Pete could have won a championship if he'd have played another year. They would have let Pete play, but Pete retired. But Pete retired with Boston, and Nate Archibald took his place, and Nate Archibald got a ring. I want to say, I don't remember if it's Greg Lloyd or Terry Durod. I get them mixed up. Which one won a championship out of Michigan? I'm leaning more toward Terry Durod, but it could have been Greg Lloyd. But either Terry Durod or Greg Lloyd won a championship on that 81 team. But so when he got Magic and Larry Bird, that changed the league. Because the league had pretty much, with the merger, become almost every team. You know, they called the New York Niggas. That's what they was calling the Knicks. The New York Niggerbockers is what they was calling them, because almost every team turned. And then they brought Larry Bird in, Kevin McHale, Danny Ainge. See how Boston quick and turned that around? But that was one of the few teams. Now, I think Rowland played with Mike Rowland. Was that his name? He hung around. I think he was on that Alvin Hayes team when they lost the championship in 75 and what they wanted in maybe 76 when the Bullets won it. But, yeah. And so, yeah, it was, Magic and Bird saved the league. Again, when Magic won that first championship, it was tape delayed. They didn't even have a good contract where they showed their finals. I mean, think about that. Think about that for a second. The NBA finals wasn't even on national television. You had to watch it on tape delay. That is how low the NBA had become. So he turned that around. He made sure Jordan wasn't going to Portland to raise Portland up, because there was no reason to pick Sam Bowie. No reason. He had been injury prone his whole career. His whole career, he had been injury prone, and he was an injury prone pro. Very disappointing career. But he was injured at Kentucky. 2 out of his 4 years, he was injured. So, yeah, there's no way that you just wanted Sam Bowie. Sam Bowie's pick made no sense. Well, we need a good big man. Sam Bowie wasn't a good big man. He was never a good big man. Always injury prone. And they did that dumb shoe injury with Zion. Yeah. Did you like Derek Coleman? Derek Coleman played here, I want to say. Derek Coleman played here. I actually liked his game. Derek Coleman was from Detroit. I actually liked his game. Choked in the championship. But as a pro, he was pretty solid. He was pretty solid pro. I want to say he played in the Timberwolves for a minute. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, he was a solid pro. Again, he had a chance to win the game for Syracuse, and they had him miss on purpose, or he just missed. It's hard to say. But yeah, I like Derek Coleman's game. I like this game. Zion is nothing but Charles Barkley that can jump. That's what he is. He's the same exact kind of player. Adrian Dantley, Truck Robertson, he's all those rolled in one. I think Truck would have been the shorter of them at maybe 6'4", but Truck put work on people. Adrian Dantley, he's a dude, he talked shit when he went in because he was pushed around. Again, they traded Dantley for Mark Aguirre, which to me, again, it was Mark Aguirre at his peak. It was Mark had two years in there that he was good, but was Mark Aguirre better? Adrian Dantley made the Hall of Fame. You think Mark Aguirre gonna make the Hall of Fame? Now again, Adrian Dantley was probably Aguirre was a year older than me, so Dantley was probably 3 or 4 years older than me, if not 5. So a little older, but not past his peak. He was still could go. So that was, you look back now, you traded a Hall of Famer for this dude that had a couple good seasons. He had some decent seasons on bad teams with Dallas, but this was a dude, a lot like George Gervin, where he flamed out really quick as a player. Because again, he wasn't an athlete. Mark Aguirre was just a basketball player. And basketball players' careers seem to end compared to athletic cats that once you can't jump as high, you ain't as quick, you adapt because you're a good athlete. Mark Aguirre didn't have that ability because he wasn't a good athlete. Lame, but demonic 2K trailer they released on him last year makes me think he's the next chosen one. Oh, okay. I'll have to check those out. They made him out like he was a living, breathing. Exactly. Nakers. That's funny, D still. I hate they gotta have Doris Burke reporting games. Yeah. It's like I'm not against women being involved, but well, they started doing it for ratings. That's why, because so many men needed women to cook for them during the football games, so they wanted their wives to feel that they were part of it. So that's why. Like really, think about officiating. Think of all the men. Think of a dude who's been officiating college for 15 years, and then you got this woman that jumps over you just because she's a woman. Is that fair? You got a dude with 15 years of national college exposure, and it's him and her. Because these women they pushing ain't got all that many years of exposure. I know about reffing. They push them women through. Sometimes you know how hard it is to go to camps to ref? Ain't an easy thing. And they pushing these women again. They are getting pushed through. They're not going by their experience. It's like, why do you need a woman on the sideline reporting? Again, they're trying to appeal to husbands' wives to make the woman be part of the Sunday broadcast. She ain't just cooking and go do her own thing. You put some cute women there, or you put the cute announcer. And let's be honest, pro basketball is not a family shared thing. It ain't like Sunday football where everybody, your wife might cook for you. It's not like that. There's so many games that it's a very man thing. So why do you need the women? And I'm not being anti-woman, but I'm just saying, why do you need the women? Now, Doris Burke played college ball, high school, so experienced. Not saying she's not experienced, but I'm saying there's an agenda behind why. Just like you got the one woman from that was a softball champion that was on on ESPN. I can't think of her name. She was calling games, and they demoted her. Kept Alex Rodriguez and demoted her. I can't think of her name. She was calling games. Matter of fact, they had her doing the Korean game where I caught the other dude talking about fixed baseball, where they was just messing around. They wasn't in Korea. They was both in America. It's 5 a.m. Nobody really watching. And he says, well, you know what? It's like when a guy can't hit a curve. He doesn't see curves. That's what he says. He says they don't throw curves to him. So they do tell she wasn't even the best player. I like when Dominique was on the Clippers. Oh, okay, Jason. She wasn't even their best player. She was all right. What's your question, Jeffrey? I thought Kobe was going to go back to the NBA like Jordan, maybe while LeBron. They changed the script. And Kobe took a beating, though. He took a beating. The situation came from open air fish market in the real world. Wouldn't they stop it? Also, if it came from China in a lab, nothing to be done. The loss. Why not close those labs? Because APJ, they're all Masons. The reason why they didn't close the lab is because an American-based company owned the lab, and they did maneuvers before all that happened. That shit didn't come from there. Come on now, that didn't come from there. Look at the people who had it built and all that. And then you put, oh, I don't even have my phone. I must have left it over there. And then you put the same little elf that was over the AIDS thing. That shows you his agenda. It doesn't show you that he was that great. Oh, I left my phone. It doesn't show you that he was that great. It shows you that this little elf was part of the AIDS scam. You know, they give Magic some stuff, supposedly. I don't think Magic ever had anything. And now they selling the Magic cocktail. That's what they called it. They called it the cocktail. Now they selling the Magic cocktail. They got commercials. I'm surprised Magic ain't cheesing in the commercials. That cocktail that supposedly Magic takes, they got that in a commercial now. And that's how far we come. You can't have cigarette commercials, but you can have drug commercials. What's the difference? Beer commercials. Now there's even liquor commercials. Motherfuckers be dancing in these drug commercials and shit. Well, I'm not going to let my HIV stop me. And she's in the marching band and shit. HIV is not going to stop me. Marching band and shit. Yeah, you see the shit. Did I see that ridiculous rehearsed play in Philly Raptors game yesterday with Aaron Baines? Shit is funny. Yeah, I think I did because I watched some of that game. I think I did see that. They say Magic went to Fresno to get injected with some shit only exclusive celebrities get. Yeah, right. Yeah, Magic didn't have that shit. Cookie didn't have it. How is that? Now, Magic was known. I've told the story. Magic was known to anybody. And any executives that Dr. Bust said bend over, Magic was, that's what he was known for. He could always get it up for anybody. And so Magic, anybody. I mean, Isaiah Thomas tried to hint to people that, he was just like, well, Magic was with these trans people. But no, Magic was with men too. That's what he was known for. Anybody. He was with that wizard, and whoever pointed it his way, Magic was right there. So yeah, Magic did smile in a lot of faces, but Magic did that kind of shit too. Will Smith also did that kind of shit. He didn't care. And I mean, what did it cost Magic? Didn't really cost him a little bit of shame. Still made him rich. Yeah, they cost him his son, let's be honest. He had to pick a son. He probably, Andre was a little older. And so his only other natural son was Cookie. He had to give up. I mean, if you think that boy just naturally growing up was like that, and you can obviously see that he had to be shot up with stuff. That dude is like 6'5". So you don't think naturally basketball would have been in his life? In Magic, they adopted a daughter. He has a daughter. They're both older. But I mean, Magic got brothers. Magic's sister played college basketball. I mean, what is the odds of him having a son that didn't want to play basketball? Not very high. Not very high. But, that's what he didn't care. Pansexuals. How can a person... That's funny. That's funny, Jeffrey. I mean, it's the price of fame. Oh, I want to do just a quick breakdown of Snowflake. I want to do a little bit of breakdown of Snowflake. It was just a little bit of bullshit I got in here. Let me see. And I think I said this the other day. Dude got caught at the game with his side chick, and his side chick was so cool. She was like, "We got these masks on. Don't nobody know who we are." That's exactly what she told him. She did like this. And don't nobody know who we are. I thought that was funny. But Snowfall, the interesting thing about Snowfall was Rick Ross. They got Rick Ross being two people. Rick Ross is playing the daddy, and Rick Ross is playing Saint. And then tonight they had the Jesus. Remember, he's looking at the big Jesus in the church, and then they hang the other boy up. Now, what I don't understand is, okay, dude owns a little restaurant or something right there. He just goes right outside. None of their people is outside. He goes in front of whatever it's the restaurant, whatever, lets the girl go on him, and just none of their people. And this girl's able to set him up, and they're just able to snatch him, and no one knows. That was stupid. Now, the lady they have playing that's Japanese, she's playing Gary Webb. I mean, everybody should get that. She's playing Gary Webb like Gary Webb was investigating it when it was going on. She's playing Gary Webb. You guys got that. Another part, the dude that was in American Me, that got raped in the prison cell, he wasn't in, I could be wrong, but I don't remember him seeing, okay. So the way the last Snowfall ended, it was like what was his name? Man Boy or something like that. When he shot them all in the complex, when they was coming out to, okay, so at the end when everybody was shot up and then the dudes was coming out of the complex to finally go, defend themselves, he wasn't in that shot. I erased all that stuff. I'll go back, but I think I erased the old Snowfalls from last season. but he wasn't in that scene. This season, they put him in the scene, which I thought was kind of funny. The mother is turning out to be the smart one. Yeah, I said that. Like the CIA cat is somewhat Oliver North. And then they got the Jewish stuff in there too, the Jewish faith stuff in there. Remember, the arms dealer said he couldn't sell arms anymore because they was hunting one of the Nazis. They was hunting one of the Nazis. I don't know if people caught that. And then this year, a lot of cigarette smoking, a lot of cigarettes. So that's cigarette commercials. They got the CIA Oliver North-like character being the cigarette dude. Again, Huey Newton was one of the biggest vultures that was out there. That's really why he got killed. He was a vulture. I don't see how they make the Rick Ross story without putting Huey Newton character squeezing all these dope dealers. That was Huey's role. So, divide and conquer though. Black on black crime started by a brother. You give arms to both sides. You arm both sides. You bring them together, and you hope that they shoot them out. The CIA dude told him, I can't really help you with this problem. You got to handle this. And that's how that's how he handled it. Black on black crime, which really was really done by the CIA. CIA's put together all the gangs out there. Maybe people pick this up, and maybe I'm wrong. But I think one thing they did is, like, when they went into the dude with the big afros, his projects. Did you guys notice the bikes was on the laundry poles? I think that showed that those was trap houses. I think those was trap houses. And like I was talking to my friend, like what they did the first show. Crackheads ain't crackheads until about 6-7 months. Or longer. Now I know on TV series, but the TV series, it was like the first time these people got high, they was stone cold crackheads. They had the David Chappelle lips. It just didn't really work. Some people, it took a year to really turn to people. They still was kind of working. Like the dude I was talking about with Post. It took a good couple years before he really flamed out of Post. They put him through drug rehab, and he was probably making $60+ an hour back in the early 90s. And it took him about a year till they finally booted him out. So about 2 years before he really destroyed himself. So wasn't as quick. But it was, again, black on black crime, a little Mexican on black crime, So I did want to put that out there. So I don't know if people watch that, but that's just some shit. Cookie must have some trash. Better than us, I would die first. Do you believe these people on the inside have jokes for people like Magic? I would have a million jokes for certain, even knowing what they do. Yeah, a lot of people still fuck with Magic, so yeah, not really. They don't really speak. Isaiah Thomas was one of the few that spoke against Magic. Now you see the backlash that Isaiah got kicked off the Olympic team. See, they make you think it was just Jordan wanted him off the team. If you read the Magic Bird book by Judy or Jackie McGuire, Jackie, whatever, the Boston Globe chick. None of them liked him. So Isaiah said that the trans stuff about Magic. So Magic, and Magic had taken Isaiah under his wing. I first met Isaiah at Dr. Tucker's camp. So Magic was Isaiah was under those wings for a minute. And again, he did the kissing, and they kissing each other on the cheeks before the game. What looked cool about that? We ain't raised in France. We ain't raised in Europe where we kiss people like, the Rome or the French Foreign Legion. You walk up to somebody, that ain't us. You see, they were showing it then. And so, no, not very many people, but they just try to put all that shit on Mike. And they caught Mike lying. They caught Mike on tape saying he didn't want Isaiah on the team. He said he wouldn't go. So why would Mike lie? So when you watch that shit about Mike, the Love Me Mike show, they call Mike lying. Mike lied, talking about he ain't had nothing to do with it. And like this is what I understand. Why lie when the shit's been out for 30, 40 years? The shit's been out for a long time. When you tried to lie when the shit came out, they put that tape up then and showed Mike lied. So why, when they made the Love Me Mike film, did he lie again? But this is what happens. And I told the story of my own father. When you tell a lie so long, it becomes part of your reality. Because my father just ran high school track. You're not world class when you run high school track. But he had said that shit for so long that when we talked, you know, we hadn't talked in years, and we talked, and that shit came up, and he said it because, again, he had conditioned that lie. He had said it so often that it was second nature for him to say it. And sometimes when you talk to people that you haven't seen in a long time, you forget that they was there and they know that you wasn't this. It's no, you know, I'm not trying to shame my old man, nothing like that. But I'm just saying that's how this shit goes. When motherfuckers be lying, you know, be capping and shit. They're always slapping each other on the ass. No more slap ass? No more slap ass? No more slap ass. No more slap ass? Y'all remember that skit, Peel and them? No more slap ass? They always slapping each other. They was two big boys. There you go. I'm just saying, of all the things to do on national television, what do you think that makes young people look? You know, I'm not bashing. Don't. Oh, there's my phone. I'm not bashing anybody. But there was a bigger message between that. You know, there's a bigger message. So how do you go from that to telling on your man? You know, like when all that poison was coming out about Magic, why would you pour fire? If that's my man, I ain't got nothing to say. I ain't pouring Magic. I'm not pouring fire on my man. And that's loyalty. But see, that kept his ass off that shit too. And, you know, Isaiah got in it with Larry Bird. So none of them wanted that motherfucker around. Not to say he wasn't talented, and Jimmy Carter robbed him because he would have played the Olympics in '80. He was on the team. But, you know, Jimmy Carter didn't let him go. So he didn't play. So, well, it's time to read the divinations. I might have lost the day since it's an extra day, but I think we're on 13 platoons, 0 cartoons, 8 tunes, and I believe we have 5 and I believe we are on day 10. 10 kin. No, 8 kin. Oh, I guess I jumped ahead. I guess I really jumped ahead. 8 kin. 8 kin is Lamont, star harmony, the octave, intuitive realization of pattern of higher life and love. And this would be the fractal. And I think I took the wrong card off for the Totec. I thought it was, no, I got it. Yeah, okay. I got it. Yeah, okay. So on the Totec, this would be considered as rabbit. In this card, we see the rabbit, and you see there on the sacred ball field, or the continuous ball field. In this card, we see the rabbit and the serpent having a match on the sacred ball court where Aluma was played. These ball courts can be found all over Mexico and Central America. Whenever they are found, they are a sign of the Toltec influence, actually omen. The rabbit represents the body and the power of the senses, and the serpent represents the mind, the capacity for reflection, and the court is the human body, and the game represents the challenge of life. The card represents the tension between enjoying your life by following your instincts, senses, and material pleasures versus looking development of awareness. If the rabbit wins and the serpent loses, because the, I skip? Yeah, it's short. We will lose. There we go. We will lose because the dominance of the senses will result in the sacrifice of the higher awareness. On the other hand, if the serpent wins and the rabbit loses, we will fail because our quest for higher awareness would kill our joy for love, for life. This card tells us that we need to take care of the balance between the two aspects of one existence, joy and awareness. The rabbit teaches us that if you forget the joy and pleasures of life, you will be wasting something precious, enjoyment of the one life that you have in eternity. But you surrender to the quest of pleasure and forget the development of awareness, you will lose your soul, which is precious as well. The key to success, of course, is to do with balancing and honoring both sides of you. So if that resonates with anybody, I give freely. And again, the energy is from the south tomorrow. So if you want to manifest, you'll get a little push from the south. And then we will have the full moon on Saturday. So I will be going through my sound thing, trying to raise the vibrations of some free energies that will be going around. Oh, that's funny. You slap my ass, we going to fight like gladiator. That's funny. I just got possessed with what you were saying. Well, I hope so. I hope that's helpful. That's why I read it every night. I hope that's helpful. I'm just going to pull this damn thing off. It is irritating me with this shirt. Yeah, see, it's just this stuff. But with the shirt over it, I've had a short sleeve shirt on almost all day. Well, I had a bigger shirt on too. I had a sweatshirt. It was warm. It was 40 some degrees and sunny up here. So it was warm up here today. It's going to be about the same tomorrow. The snow hasn't melted, but it's like, I don't even have my heat on right now. I'll turn it on a little bit just for my plants. I won't turn it on in the bedrooms. I won't need it. So I'll have it out here for my plants. My plants are needed, but yeah, it's decent. It's decent up here. That minus stuff is never fun, but it's decent. It was sunny, and we was in the city today. Matter of fact, I don't know if people remember this, but back in 7 or 8, we had a bridge collapse here, and they was wondering at first, was it a attack by someone? And we have all these Somali people up here, and they was wondering if they had blown the bridge up and stuff, and it was just poor maintenance. These jokers let this shit just get raggedy, and my daughter's mother said she had been on the bridge, and I mean the bridge just killed like 8-10 people that was in their cars. It was people that went in their cars, and the cars dropped into the Mississippi River, because the Mississippi River has locks on it that run right downtown, right through downtown Minneapolis. The feeding rivers are you have the Minnesota River, and then you have the St. Croix, that is the Wisconsin feeder. But yeah, these people die. Can you imagine driving and you just going like 10 stories down in your car? Pow! How do that's quite a fact. And a couple people their cars hit the water and they lived. But most of the people that cars hit the water with them in it didn't live. But a couple people did. Can you imagine that shit? Can you imagine if he was able just to stop right where the shit broke down? I drove down there and looked at that shit. It was amazing. It was amazing. Now it's a new bridge there. It's a bridge that's been there since 8 or 9. Heavyweight, normalizing society. But yeah, so. But it's funny how now the hoops is trying to get everybody's attention. Baseball that started back up. A college, again they're gonna try the college thing and see how they can gather ratings. I know what I want to bring up. Do you see the NCAA gave in? So now if college players can have agents, college players can get their likeness and get money. Now, I don't know. I can't imagine, like Chris Webber was talking about, he didn't have gas money, but his jerseys was selling for like $50. How do you get the release? Because we've checked. It was easier. We were thinking about making baby bags for all the NFL and college teams. And it was the licensing for the colleges was much harder to get than for the pros. So I don't know how the college players would get the rights to the college name across the chest and your name in the back. That I don't know. And to me, that's kind of a trick. That they would have to release that. But now college players can get paid for their likeness. And did y'all see that in the NCAA game that's coming back, Notre Dame opted out? That's some whole shit there. Notre Dame, the rest of the country pretty much opted in. And what I liked about the old game is A&T was on there too. Not me. I was too old by the time that came out. But A&T was there, and I could create me. Never been much of a gamer, but I remember a couple of times I did play. I would be A&T. I'd play. My son would talk me into playing. It's like, we can play college, Dad. You can be A&T. And he'd be somebody like Nebraska. So it looks like they are slowly giving in. Again, the NCAA before this COVID stuff was just had slaves and they was raking in millions. I mean, I think years ago I broke down the scholarship compared to the millions. Matter of fact, it wasn't even millions; it was billions. The NCAA was making billions, and if you count the number of teams, it was like if you looked at 64 teams and you broke down all their scholarships, it was only something like in the 20 millions for 64 teams. It was like 20, 30, 40 million, something like that, including all the scholarships for every team that they went into the NCAA tournament. I broke that down years ago. A lot of my 2016 stuff that been taken off. Even off my other channel, they took all that 16, 17 stuff off. But I think what I broke down was it came to like 30 to 50 million. So scholarship money, put in the poll of all 64 teams that made the tournament. And you got the NCAA, you only have to pay 50 million and you got $1 billion. So it's slavery. I mean, high price slavery, but it's slavery and taking advantage of college students. I mean, it came to be like something like 4 or 5% that they was giving back to the college players. So it was a type of slavery. I mean, the colleges had to fight the NCAA because at first the colleges created their own TV contracts. And then the NCAA got greedy and said, no, we'll do all the contracts. And then the colleges pulled back and said, no, we'll do them. And then the colleges now today have their own TV contracts because of greed of the NCAA. But they pretty much allowed slavery. That's slavery. And that's why they always try to throw the scholarship thing. Well, they're getting a scholarship. Yeah, okay. You take a dude like Shaq or Chris Webber, you've made hundreds of millions of dollars. He took Michigan to 2 Final Fours. You know all the revenue that made? All the number 4 jerseys they sold? And his scholarship was probably, for 2 years, his scholarship was probably worth, let's give a big number, say $100,000 for 2 years in Michigan. Michigan is not cheap. But you made multi-millions and you only had to pay basically $50,000. You had to pay $100,000 and you've made tens of millions being a Final Four team. And even count the 12 players and you times 100,000, it's like 1.2 or some shit. I mean, it's just it's the comparison is not a great comparison. They're truly taken advantage of. I mean, I'll tell you what. Now, you guys want to know what the devil was? And let me tell you what the devil was. I wouldn't have any money and would see a goddamn Burger King commercial at 1 in the morning or 12 or 11 and didn't have any money to buy me a damn Whopper. If it wasn't for Krispy Kreme donuts and the fraternities, I would have probably starved a lot of nights. But Krispy Kreme, you could get for $1. You could get a baker's dozen for $1, something like that back then. The fraternities come down hustling the donuts, and it was something like it gave you. I think it was $1 for 13. I think it was very inexpensive to get the donuts and save the day. Now, I didn't go to a big time school. I didn't rake in a lot of, but I'm just saying, I shouldn't have had to be hungry like that. And I did get some money from the coaches eventually, cracked on them, Okay, I saw what they was doing for a couple of the dudes, and I just started cracking on the coaches, and they started giving me money because I'd ask. A lot of the cats would be scared to ask, but I'm like, wait a minute, you buying them, you paying for their hotel, their apartment, and his girl and his kid, you paying for that and that, and I'm like, I caught on, like, coach, you know. Remember, I was sick, and the coach gave me $100 because I needed some cough medicine or some shit, and my buddies is waiting in the hallway, and shit, we just partied. But I saw what was going on, you know. I saw what was going on. But I remember the last time I saw my coach, he was like, if I hear anything more about you and weed, you won't be here. And within a couple of weeks, he quit to go to Prairie View. He left Greensboro. I don't even think Prairie View was Division II at that time. And he was part of the 80 losses in a row. He was there 2 or 3 years, and he lost every game for 2 or 3 years. Prairie View has the most losses ever. We went from 9-3, predicted to win the national championship the next year, which would have been 82 season. And we went 3-9 because his dumbass wanted his nephew to be quarterback. He let the quarterback that would have helped us. Well, it was another cat he could have red-shirted. Cat didn't play, should have red-shirted him. And then we'd have had a veteran dude. And then he let his top recruit live. His first scrimmage as being a college player is live, and you run a damn veer where he could be exposed to the tackle. Tackle broke his shoulder. Didn't play his freshman year. He ended up being a quarterback after the coach left. New coach came in. But, yeah, you see how even the coach set it up so his guy could be. His nephew didn't have it, guys. He just did. Steve was my man, but he didn't have it. I got damn near cut in two because Steve, I'm wide open. He throws the ball. I got to jump for it. And being an ex-basketball player, I didn't mind jumping. But when you don't need to jump, you prefer not to. And I talk about having a helmet print in the middle of my back for probably 15 years. This guy hit me so hard. But then when I have a chance to get back at him on a post flag, he doesn't just throw the ball in the end zone out at a clear, easy touchdown. So I hit him with that post move, and when you see a dude turn his hips, you go back outside. It's impossible. It's impossible for him to turn back around. Impossible. That's what you're watching. He goes to run the post, then you like, oops, like a crossover. You know, post flag is like a crossover. You got him here, and he turns his hip, and boom, you turn back over. It's the same way as a crossover in the dribble, post flag. Yeah, I'm just in the end zone by myself, like, damn, he's back there scrambling. So just fun times, That's all. Just fun times. But it's just reporting this shit, you know, reporting it. Sharing my experiences, my life experiences. That's all. I want to say this is like one of my favorite t-shirts. I've had this t-shirt about 11 years. This shit ain't new. It's by some company called Discipline Boys Club or some shit. And I just always loved the artwork. My cousin had did something very similar. And so, you know, it's just some artwork I always loved. I've never seen anybody else have this shit. And I've said this before. It was like when I lived in the hood, I bought from the local hood stores clothes. I'd always buy my school clothes from the local stores. And I know they was knockoffs a lot of times, but a lot of times they would have independent artist clothes. And so I was always picking that kind of thing up. And plus, I'm one dude I was buying shit from all the time. He's like, man, do you like shooting craps? I'm like, how do you know my name? And so, you know, it was a place where I got to hustle a little bit. But I always supported them brothers. And they would always have like the Stash House stuff, the Red Monkey shit, all that kind of shit. They had that shit back then. And I look at that shit now and it's like, whoa. So, but to me, it was supporting them dudes. And I always was thinking, if you lived in the city, regardless if they got knockoffs or not, these dudes live in your city. They live in your hood. Why wouldn't you support them? Yeah, the fake Jordans. At one time, the fake Jordans, you couldn't tell the difference. In time, they was cheaper, but I mean, you are keeping the money in the neighborhood, and I couldn't get people to understand that. You are helping, and yes, they're knockoffs, but you are helping the neighborhood. These people live around you. Instead of going to the Mall of America or one of we got a million malls. You help the people that live around you. You keep the money in your neighborhood. As a people, I mean, they show different ethnic groups and they show how much the dollar stays. Now, we know the Jewish faith people in their neighborhoods, yeah, there's barely a penny that gets away from them. They spend with each other. And again, the biggest joke of all time is Jewish faith people driving Mercedes and BMWs, but Mercedes. And when you go to Florida, where a lot of them live, guess what the favorite car is? You hate them people so bad. Mercedes Benz was drove by them Nazis. The National Socialists drove Mercedes Benz. They don't really have a problem with them anymore, do they? Seemed like they would boycott those cars for life. They didn't. They was driving the hell out of them in the 90s, in the 80s. You showing off. Thank you. Which people? I bought fake from neighborhood dude. Which people? I visit the question. Thank you. It's old, but I love the artwork. I can't really tell you who it is, but I just always love the artwork, and it's always hung in my closet. I wear it once or twice a year. It's just always hung in my closet. Just always been one of my favorite shirts, just because of the artwork. It's a little dude that lives by me that kind of is like this. You remind me of Dr. Valentine. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. He's a Pan-African. I don't know if he studied a lot more than I have too. But thank you. He knows a little more than me. You know, he studied a little more than me. I would say that my experience is relative to his experience. Again, when I caught I thought he was I saw him using Wes Paneri's work, but then as I studied, I looked at some other stuff and I'm like, no, Wes copied from you too. So I don't blame you for using Wes' work because Wes copied from you too. You catch Dr. Valentine's very first talking, the very first one when they're in the high school, and he talks about the different, well, he gets into like you see the Osiris where he's green. He don't really say Osiris, but that's kind of what he's talking about, the different colors we were. And then Wes Paneri says that just hazes, different colors of haze people that didn't need to eat. It's the same information. Just Wes did his spin on it. That's all. So I'll see why when Dr. Valentine came across Wes' work, why he used it, because Wes had used his. And that's only fair game. That is only fair game. That is only fair game. So it's the same stuff. Like it's a lot of eyes on me. There's this chick that's got a big channel and she watches my shit. But I didn't realize that a lot of these weirdos that watch my stuff too, that she connects with. And I'm hearing them telling my shit about the me or the mine. And I'm like, So, okay, it's a lot more eyes, I guess, than what I realized. Because these weirdos I never heard of. And I always catch her using my stuff or using my brother's stuff. She got 100 and some thousand. It's like they just took my brother's channel down again. He created another one. I should have wrote down a new name. I will write it down tomorrow. But you got 100. But see, again, when you looked at Bill Gates, remember the Bill Gates movie, the Microsoft movie, where he was killing the people. He was taking, copying their ideas and then killing them. See, that greed thing, that greed. I got to say that the hottest, newest shit. Yes, we live in a goddamn simulation by a machine. That is what Star Trek, Lost in Space, all that shit comes from, is this machine was brought here by a ship. It can't move without a ship. So it makes us think, well, Hal, what do you think they're talking about when Hal came? Space Odyssey. Space Odyssey 2000. How? Where do you think? The megaliths. They talking about the me or the my. Because the universe itself won't create multiple dimensions. It just won't. Quantum shows that. We don't live in that shit where it was that Big Bang shit is dead. That's the Christian shit. When people quit believing in the Christian shit, when Carl Sagan's came out, that's when they came out with the Big Bang. What is that? 87, 86, 85, somewhere in there? That's old as the Big Bang shit is. And Carl Sagan is right on there. It's the Big Bang. No. That shit is made up. That's for the Christians, the Catholics. That's for them. That's their made up shit. Because people wasn't believing in that the world is only 10,000 years old, which you could have a point there. It's not as old. I'll say that. But yeah, but the reality doesn't, but the machine does. And that's why, and this is the best example I can give you. And I was showing this to my daughter just trying to teach her magic. The way this machine has to do is think about it like this. When you want to turn left or right, and you want to turn before a car is coming, but you could beat it. If there's not a lot of cars behind you, let it go. Let it go. But see, the reality is going to do what you thought at first. One of your realities is going to do because you're thinking, damn, I could beat this car. Since you thought that shit, you put that shit in motion. So one of you will try to beat that car. And then you knowing this, you don't go by your thought. You just think it, but you wait. So you kind of fuck with the machine because the machine has made one of you drive through. And you wait. I tested 2 cars like that the other day. It was like 2 cars I knew I could have went from. And I was like, no, I'm gonna wait. But just knowing the machine, I could feel the shit. Like, yeah, the machine done had some of me drive through this shit. But I waited because there was nobody behind me. It was 2 cars I could have easily beat, but I was just fucking with the machine. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna go. I sat there, and I could just feel the energy of one of me driving off. I'm like, yeah, there go this shit. It's doing that shit. And then another car. It was like they were fairly close together. I could have beat either one. I could have beat either one. I waited for both. But again, I'm feeling one of my energies go before either other one. And the other one was a little closer, but I still could have beat them both. But I feel one of my energies go again. I'm like, fucking with you. Then I finally go. But fuck with this thing. Make this thing react like that. That's how we kind of defeat it because it has to know everything. This thing has to know all your thoughts. That's why I say, motherfuckers talking about, going into these ethers and the astros. This shit be in there. So you got to be prepared for that. I don't think they fuck with that Tsar shit as much. But the ethers and the astros, they in this shit. And if no one else is telling you this, people are deceiving you. Because you got to be prepared that they are in this shit as well. So when you leave your body and you start really moving through this shit, be prepared that one of these unwrathful motherfuckers is the machine up in that bitch. Because again, people don't want to tell you the whole story. This motherfucker, that shit's in there. And that shit ain't a demon. It's something else. But again, we are strong beings. We are naturally strong spiritual beings. I mean, the spirit that is this thing. It's like this is the thing. How many people watching me, it is Smiths out there. They want to call the Smiths Karens. Remember? I mean, why when you don't know a motherfucker and you walk in the store without a mask, why do all the Smiths wake up? All of them wake up and all of them give you just the fucked up as look. And some Smiths want to react and confront you. How is that? If they ain't Smiths, how is that? These motherfuckers ain't thinking about shit. They might not even see you for 5 or 10 minutes. That's why I wore my plastic mask up in the hospital. I ain't wear it yesterday. I just wanted to fuck with the system. So I just wore the little pull-up shit yesterday. Today I wore my mask in a major hospital. It fucks with the Smiths. But what can they say? They can't say I can't come in because I fulfill the requirement. I have something on my face. But it fucks with the psyche, me taking this, just like me walking at the Mall of America with that shit. It fucks with the psyche of the machine because machine doesn't want that. Machine wants you to have pull-ups or they want you to be the doctor. That's what the machine wants. And, you know, I've been fucking with clothes a little bit. I designed a goddamn hoodie with a pull-up a year ago. You know, the hoodie with the pull-up? I designed that shit a year ago. But I made a mistake of telling somebody. And not the person I told didn't tell. But I put that shit in the ethers. And we see a motherfucker. My friend called me. We was watching the shit. We was watching the news. He called me. And he's like, this motherfucker done copied your shit. I did the write-ups. I couldn't find a motherfucker that could sew for me. But I had thought of that shit when COVID first hit. Now that's these lurking motherfuckers. You get the whole outfit. They give you the lurking mask and everything that matches all this shit. And these motherfuckers wearing the individualized mask like that is an individualized thing. It's an individualized mask, an individualized thing. It's the same shit. It's just sugar coated. That's all a mask with any kind of fucking design is just some sugar coating of some bland slavery type of shit. You know, isn't it? Well, I'll get back to it. So you go in the store and all these Smiths just want to pounce on you. Why is that? When before they saw you, these motherfuckers didn't care about anybody but getting their goddamn shopping done. But the minute you do something against the machine, like don't wear a mask, Smiths show up everywhere. And they take the motherfucking who nearest you. So my point is, it's a lot of Smiths out there. Beware of that. It is more Smiths than it is real people. I mean, Bliss, watch that Bliss, watch that shit. They break that shit down, and it's the same thing. It's telling the same thing. It ain't a lot of real motherfuckers. I mean, this simulation is worse than you could imagine. Like when you drive, do you really think all these motherfuckers driving around you? Do you really think it's real people driving around you? Think about that. When you drive, do you think it's just a million motherfuckers just driving that you just don't know? And if you get in an accident and suddenly that there's some kind of attraction and boom. And then you got to know a motherfucker. Might have to sue them. They don't want to fix your car or whoever. They might sue you, whatever. Do you understand? I mean, these people, you have to even see that when you drive around, I mean, you clearly have to see these motherfuckers. You could tell this shit ain't real. How do all, like a traffic jam, how does a traffic jam make any sense? And people that's from Chicago, it'd be traffic jams. But how does that make sense? That's insanity. Why would the same amount of people know that it's a million motherfuckers going on these roads? Why would they all be on the road at the same time every day? Why would you want to live in a place where you know you got to fight hours for a half-hour trip? You might be in your car an hour and a half for a 20-minute trip. Take you an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours because you stuck. That's insanity. That is insanity. And you do it over and over and over again every day. That is insanity. Better. Look a little brighter there. What is this? Oh, Return of the Thoth, Merlin and the Serpent. That's his new channel. My brother's new channel is Return of the Thoth and Merlin and the Serpent. So, yeah, Moray, it'll be happy to come out. It'll be happy to come out. All right. Ask your question. I know it's a delay, so ask your question. Ask your question, Maria. I know it's a little delay. Knowing motherfuckers. Yeah. So now. Yes. Finally watched Dark City. Is very underrated. Not interested more than the Matrix. It's before the Matrix. If you look at the Dark City, it is when he talks about the first one, he's talking about Dark City. They kind of go hand in hand. Like Dark City would be part one, Matrix 1. And then Matrix, the first Matrix would be Matrix 2, actually. The simulation, then if this is a simulation, then killing myself wouldn't even matter. Then it's all a joke. Will neck training cure my tinnitus and hearing loss? Then it's all a joke. All right, let me make sure I get the question. Will neck training cure my tinnitus and hearing loss? Well, my friend, you get a chance to be a star again. So Mo Ray is really worried about his health. He wants to know if neck training will help with his hearing loss and tinnitus. So do not take any of my emotions. Answer his questions. So will neck training cure his tinnitus and hearing loss? Do you see that? Is there any way you can connect to that energy? Can you make it clearer? How clear can it become? It looks more like that would be positive. So it looks like it might be positive. Now, again, I'm not a doctor and this is, but it looks like for a yes, no answer, it looks like that would be something positive. So go by your feelings, but if that helps, I hope it does. When I used to catch the train in the morning to work, I finally stopped one day and looked around and saw all these people just walking drones. Yeah. My name is Sosa, like Sosa from Scarface. I see you always struggle with it. Yes, I do. Sosa. Sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, you're welcome. I hope it helps a little. Yes, I do struggle with it. I have dyslexia, so it takes me a minute to get that shit together. Sosa. Okay, I can say Sosa. Sosa. People are literally walking robots on the train with their masks, always on their phones. Let me tell you, and this is a true story. When I was a cop at Western Michigan, this must have been 88, 89, or no, 89, 90. I passed this dude every day. When I worked days, I passed this same train worker. He worked for the train. I don't know if he was, I don't know. I don't remember which train, but you know what a truck that works on the train looks like, because you can see the train wheels. He can pull them up. They can bring the train wheels down, pull the regular tires up, or when they drive it, it was one of these kind of trucks. I saw this dude every day for months sleep at the same spot on the highway. I would get off at the Battle Creek exit, somewhere going towards Kalamazoo. I would come across this dude every morning. I would pass him and look over at him. This dude was driving with his eyes asleep every time I saw him. And I would see this dude every day for months, every day asleep at the wheel. And I was telling my friend said he fell asleep one time driving. And the first accident I was ever in, we were in Florida when I was being recruited by FAMU to play basketball when I was a freshman. Well, I was going in 10th grade, but no, I was a freshman. I was a freshman still. And we hit a viaduct. Friend's new Cadillac, he fell asleep. We hit a viaduct. Luckily just door damage. But this guy was asleep. And let me tell you, when I was a cop in the village of Casopolis, I would eat and then have to go drive an hour and then work 12 hours. I never would fall asleep coming back home after a 12-hour shift. I always would fall asleep going, because I would eat dinner. My ex-wife would make me dinner, and then I would drive, and I would fall asleep driving. And do you know what a damn scary feeling it is? A car passes you. And this is country roads, 2-lane highway, and a car would pass me and wake me freaking up. I'm dreaming while I'm damn driving. Luckily, I didn't ever get killed like that. But I would pass this same guy every day, sleep. And so that just shows you how real really was he? How did he survive every day, sleep at the same point on the highway? So it was the Matrix, me showing me that this shit ain't real. It ain't even the Matrix. It's the me or the mind. Let's call it by his name. That is the shit that controls us. That is the shit that needs the damn ship. You really think they can put a toaster in the air or a microwave in the air and fly that shit all across when ain't nothing they can invent get away from the asteroid belt. Nothing. When their own masters, the Anunnaki, supposedly had to atom bomb that shit to get through it. How can a toaster or a microwave make it through if they had to atom bomb the shit to get through? Again, these is low beings. Again, you want to go to space, you can just go to space. You don't need a damn machine. We spiritual people. Did you see? I don't be carrying all masses, man, in public here. I don't even wear it. Be on the train, doing pull-ups and push-ups, and all the people give me weird looks. I thought about too when it comes to simulation. If I were to kill myself, that is. I'll say this. That is, it's like people get put to the point where the simulation is so bad, it makes you wonder, do you even matter? And this simulation can beat you down so much. And in some way, the simulation likes that. Because spiritually, you've killed the thing. You've killed, that is one way that you basically kill your energy signature, your energy fragment. That is one thing that can kind of snuff that shit out. Is what they tell you in the Matrix. If you die in the Matrix, you die out here. Well, that is one way that you kind of die in both places. And that's the sadness of it. But this system will beat you into that. I'm reading about this beautiful young girl, and it's like she is one of the most beautiful girls on Facebook, but she suffers from depression. She had a baby very young, but she suffers from this stuff. And you look at her and she's so pretty, you would never think she had any problems in the world. and this isn't funny, but this is the thing about beautiful women too. Beautiful women forget that if they got a guy, he got you, he's a type of pimp. And he's probably going to be a pimp to other women. You just got to kind of understand that. And it's nothing but you. But what does George Clinton say? It's nothing but the dog in me. And so some women don't understand this, especially pretty girls. They don't understand that. And then they may come across the woman and they're like, well, what the hell? Look at her and then look at me. What is it? Why does this keep happening to me? And so the beauty is turned into ugly inside, because this beautiful person is thinking, well, damn, I keep having this happen to me. What is it about me that this keeps happening? But see, that's the machine wanting to beat the beauty out of you. That's the machine trying to destroy you. And the machine uses these people to destroy your beauty because you're unique. And depression is some shit. I'll tell a little bit of my ex-wife's story. My ex-wife was kind of rough growing up, really was. I mean, working class people, but it was some fucked up shit around her. And the way she dealt with it was sleeping. Sleeping to the point where she quit going to school. But that was her way of dealing with depression, was she would sleep. I mean, even to this day, she could take a 2-hour nap, stay up a couple hours, and then go right back to sleep for the night. I know my mother always says if she takes a nap, she'll be up all night. But one thing she taught me is you can rest at any time. You can rest at any time. I started taking later naps because I do this. They took our guns in Australia. They staged the Port Arthur massacre. American guns are definitely next. That's why they're doing all these school shootings in Las Vegas. Yeah, I agree. Sosa, I agree. At the point right now, I am very strong, but I'm dealing with a lot. I just try to hide it and to be cool, but shit isn't good. People keep saying there's hope. I understand. I always thought about that while sitting in traffic. I'm tired of people saying have hope. It's good giving advice. I've been going through. Yeah, Jeffrey, you're not the only one. I have to exercise every day to keep myself from being depressed. If I don't, it's over for me. I understand that because I used to go through it. I was pretty much a single father of 3 little boys. Their mother was a drug addict. So, I had 3 little boys. And, I never changed any of my stuff. I kept hooping. I kept caring for them, and I kept working, and I kept reffing. Didn't ever stop me from hustling. I knew she was a broken person, and the drugs made her forget about all the fucked up shit that happened to her. I understood that. But I never gave up. I never gave up. And I have three boys that needed me. My youngest son, City, that comes on here every now and then. He needed me. And yeah, bringing his mother here to Minnesota probably wasn't the best idea I did, but being his dad was the best thing I could have ever done. Because now he has a chance. My other children that I did leave in Michigan, I kept in touch with them, but they were well taken care of. They had very strong mothers, and the people in Battle Creek, my family was in Battle Creek, so they were very well taken care of. But these other boys weren't, especially my youngest son. He wasn't. So he needed a chance in the world, and me being his father is giving him that chance. And I don't have any regrets. Doesn't mean that I didn't love my other children and that I chose him over my other children. No, it wasn't that. It was like, you guys were going to be okay without me being there. If I wasn't there for him, he wasn't going to be okay. Give it out. Pass it out. I feel good. Sleeping is a way to get out of this bullshit. Yeah. Jimbo, you would be good. I think about it every day, but haven't done it because I know the consequences. Yeah, it's one of the few things that's finite. One of the very few things, and spiritually, if you've studied that kind of thing from a spiritual aspect, it's like Groundhog's Day, where every day that's what you do. That's part of it. The other part is the eternal pain you feel the moment it kills you. Whichever way you do, you would get that replay of that pain that of doing it would feel. Whichever way was done, that's the other part that you could experience. And so you could make it worse because that could be your type of hell. Groundhog's Day, he got a replay. Can you imagine replaying, doing that to yourself for eternity? Because this machine it can't help that. It laughs on that kind of shit, off our misery. It's like putting myself through physical pain to deal with emotional pain, especially running like it's meditation to me. That's good. That's good, Sosa. That's good. It's just very hard it's hard to get out. I understand. It is. It's like you're in a pit. You're in a pit where it's raining. So you can't even, when you try to climb up, the rain and the mud bring you back down. But you got to keep trying no matter what. If you have to keep trying through eternity to get out of it, but you still fighting, because that's what the machine loves, to break us down. It loves to break us down. That's why men sit in jail, and great men, and they just make them sit in jail. But the person, it fucks the machine up because the person gets into himself and says, okay, machine, this is what you want. Okay, I'm not going to let this defeat me. If I'm in jail, you can make me sick. You can do whatever thing, but I'm not going to be defeated by you no matter what you do to me. I'm going to still fight. And there's the old Aggie thing. It says sometimes we have to fight even though you want to cry. And that's real as it gets. Because fighting is fighting this system. People telling me to let go of my trauma. No, it's not, Jeffrey. It's not. That's deep, Jeffrey. Oh, sorry, guys. So many people depressed because the system goes against the human spirit. It does. That is part of what it does. You look on TV and you see all these rich people and Life of the Rich and Famous, and you wonder, what did I do so wrong? When I was little, I watched my parents work and have good jobs. What did I do that I can't have a good job? My father didn't graduate from high school, but he made good money. Why isn't the opportunity here for me? And again, look what the country did. Because these rich millionaire car companies wasn't gonna make their billions. Look at the law they're trying to pass now about unions, right to work. They're trying to get rid of unions, even the few that's left. Reagan basically broke the unions. Now, yeah, they give you all the mafia corruption. A lot of that's propaganda. And I'm not saying some unions didn't work with the mafia, but overall, it's a bargaining agreement. I mean, why do you think unions were so important to the Klan? The Klan put the unions in after Reconstruction to make sure these unskilled people got skilled jobs. That is some of how, see, they try to tell you the Eastern kind of unions and them fighting. They don't tell you about the Klans putting the unions in the South after Reconstruction to keep the unskilled freedmen out of skilled positions, to keep them out of, to guarantee the unskilled person got the job. That's Reconstruction. They wasn't against unions then. When the Klan ran the unions, Reagan came around and again, let these, like, when you have a place that has to deal with the union, and the only reason you want to leave this state is to go to a state without a union, they should be taxed so high that it's not affordable for them to move. And that is within our government's right. The government has the right to step in, especially these major corporations, like when Kellogg's left Battle Creek. The government had the power to say, no, okay, you want to go take it somewhere else? You want to go, like GM went to Mexico, GM went to Canada. We're going to tax your ass so high, it's not going to be affordable for your products to come out of them countries. They didn't do that, though, did they? They could protect, when they want to protect motherfuckers, they can do it. They pass this bullshit laws when they want to. And this thing now with sports where anything goes, in sports, it doesn't matter anymore. Anything goes. Like I know everybody saw the 6'8", 50-year-old dude playing junior college basketball as a female. The sprinter couldn't win as the dude, so he starts taking hormones, and now he's beating women. Is that fair? And that's no bias, but I'm just saying, is that fair? That's not fair. Because men are physically more gifted than women. Stronger, faster, it's just a thing. And then you taking hormones, that takes none of that away. That's why some states have taken stances against that, but now they're trying to override that. They're trying new laws to override that. People always say life is hard. So many people depressed because the system. Yep. Wow. Yeah, you even got to have money and own land to do that, Jeffrey. To just hide from these mugs. I don't even think these people pay in this life, this world. They are the ones that succeed. Yeah. I mean, look at all the people that live in Alaska and stuff. I mean, why do you think that they don't mind being away and living off the land again? And that's a good point about that. Why do you think they don't mind being away from all this? I mean, think about the Mennonites, the Quakers that don't fuck with TV. They don't even want zippers because they know the enemy is the me or the my. And they from the very beginning, their people realized that the machine is not for us. That's why they show you with the monoliths. They show you how monoliths was giving fractals to the monkeys to build the tools. They're trying to show you because the me and I came here and didn't know how to communicate with shit. And I know they put the monkey shit, which is all a lie. That's a lie. I'm reading a book about consciousness, and he's trying to take consciousness from the Darwinism shit. Well, you know, they evolved in the octopus eye, and it's all bullshit. It's like I see that Darwinism shit, and I'm like, you dumb motherfucker. Because again, they need their people to prove this stupid shit. So some books turn me off. I don't even finish like wanting to read the shit. Like, how can you bring up any Darwinism? The shit didn't evolve. Now you're going to show me the system of how learning the moment and all that. Okay, I understand that. But don't do the Darwinism. Shit has been shown the shit is a lie. That shit is the biggest lie they've ever told. We ain't evolved like that. Come from no. They don't want to admit that motherfuckers was shapeshifters and all that. They don't want to admit that shit because that shit was against the machine. Because it's a lot of shit that existed before the machine. And I can't tell you the point when the machine came and changed all this. That's why I say there's a way when you get in Astros, you break through and you see blue skies and shit. You can bust through this shit and it'll be like blue skies, just like you'll see. Now, how is that possible? I'm sitting in the all dark. How can I break through some shit and I see just as blue skies? That shows you Mu is alive, but this shit is on top of Mu. And what did they say in Animal House? It's a possibility that our whole reality might be on just the pinhead of a needle. Remember them smoking weed and he was like talking and he's trying to tell you. And that movie's from 79. They're trying to tell you about the simulation. And I don't have any magic words that takes away depression and hurt, disappointment. I can't really say I've been hurt by a woman. I've been disappointed. I've been hurt more by my family members than I have women. Because I've watched motherfuckers help everybody else. But then they come to me, I don't get the same help. And I don't understand that. It's like my children here. My father and his wife have not sent my children any gifts since 2010 or 2009. They don't give them any birthdays, no Christmas shit. It's like, what did those children do? No matter how you feel about me, what did those children do to you? That you can't support them. What did they do? My daughter's mom sends them shit every year since she was little and got nothing back. And she didn't do it to get something back, but like a Christmas card back, like, hey, what did they do to you? Give a fuck you don't like me? Okay, I'm cool with that. Shit, I watched my father have my ex-wife's new wedding reception in that goddamn house. Like I'm not fucking alive. He calls her new husband his son-in-law, but she's the daughter-in-law. And this shit's just funny to me. Motherfuckers try to prove points. It's just funny to me. And I'm damn near 60. I'll be 60 years old in months. I don't care. I'm not hurt. I've made these boys happy all those years and my daughter. Where these motherfuckers, see, this is the thing. These motherfuckers gonna die and they wouldn't even give a fuck. And they made that. They made it like that. My children go back and forth to Michigan. You think they go look at my side of the family? Other than my sons, that they're the same ages, near? Yeah. They don't go look them up. They look at their brothers up, but they don't go look my people up. They don't go look my father and stepmother up. My sons say, I don't know them. But they created that. They created that. and the shit's just, it gets beyond ridiculous. You want to be known as a person that takes care of everybody? Mm. So we all have Mississippi. We do not with the Juana Man agenda. That's good. Oh, wow. Connecticut is about it. If monkeys evolve, we should be on some Planet of the Apes shit. Oh, wait till you see my next thumbnail. Oh, you're going to love it. You are going to love it. Why they say the elephants hold the flat earth up. I'll get a little bit. I just like you, Time Lord. People treat me funny, pose the other side, and I see face crazy. Doesn't matter. Up and message me. That's the way I go back and forth every day about. I told you, I don't front. This is a small, I think I got 900 square feet. That's it. This is a 2-bedroom apartment. This is my dining room. My kitchen is right there. My living room, my TV is right there. And I got 2 bedrooms and 1 bath. I don't front. I mean, yeah, I like dressing and shit, but I don't front like my car is a 2005 Freestyle that runs. And I'm happy. My girls call it the daddy wagon. So it gets me around. That's the point of any car, to get you from A to B without breaking down on you. That's a good day for you. Richard Pryor says the best. It's hard enough just to be a goddamn human being without all this bullshit. I do want to answer. The simple answer is why the elephants hold up the flat earth would be, again, the elephants is looked at as the keepers, as the keeper of knowledge. And so these keepers of knowledge hold up the flat plane. That's about the easy answer I could give you. But let me tell you what they came up with now. This dude, did I save it? Maybe I saved it, and I can give you guys the link. Let me see if I saved this shit. Maybe I did it, maybe I didn't. But it goes directly with that. Let me see if I saved it. I didn't. Let me see if it's on the other page. Because there's some shit about the flat earth. This dude made a map. He made the most accurate flat earth map, and you can flip it on both sides. Let's see if I put it over here. Send people the link. At least tell you the name of the link. I'm not gonna show that shit. That shit's funny though. I didn't save the map. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't save this map. But this dude here, let me see. I'm gonna use this as my thumbnail. Let me see if I can show this. See if everybody can see this shit. Can y'all see that shit? Try to see that shit? Ain't that shit funny? And look at all the dudes. All the dudes look like Jesus. You see that? That's the Planet of the Apes drawing. Dude got the club. Remember in the Planet of the Apes, they was clubbing their ass and shit. I'm trying to keep the light on. Which one is doing it? Oh, that one. I don't know if I can get rid of that light. So I'm going to put that as my thumbnail. I found that shit. I'm surprised Facebook didn't take it down. Lifting weights keep me going. That's good. Hoopin did that for me too. Hoopin did that for me. Sosa, facts. Fuck people with their materialistic. There you go. This is really about doing what's make you joyful. There you go. Yep. Oh, no problem. That's the easy one. I like calisthenics over weights. I liked hooping. I would just go hoop. Hoop or ref. That shit seemed to help. All the disappointment that was around me. My boys was young. I just took on the responsibility. I took on the responsibility. Like, you go do what you want to be. You want to tear yourself down. And the sad thing is, my ex is 40 years old and her health is worse than mine. And her mother lived to only be 63. Her grandmother only lived to be 60 something. And now this woman is about to be 47, I think she said. And I'm not in the greatest health, but I'm not diabetic. This chick can't even turn her neck. She fell in the tub one time. My son would use a whole bottle. When he's little, he used all the shampoo. And she slipped in it and fucked her neck up. And she's got plates in her neck. So she's beat her body up. She's beat her body up. And so she's suffering. But, it's a lot of fucked up stuff that happened to her. But a lot of fucked up stuff she put on herself too. So you have to take responsibility. After a while, people say, yeah, some fucked up shit happened, but it's some fucked up shit happened to a lot of people, and they can get out of it. You can't tear yourself down, though. I guess that's the best advice. Remember, it's fucked up shit that happened to a lot of people. And you can either let it tear you down and make you age early, or you fight these motherfuckers. Whichever way you want to fight back. And working out is a great way because you're taking care of yourself. That's the good thing about working out. No matter taking a walk or whatever, you are taking care of yourself to get your mind off the bullshit that's around you. So mentally, shit may be tearing you down, but if you work out, walk, you are building yourself back up. So remember that. Remember that. Just remember that. Well, guys, I'm gonna have to go. Yeah, I went longer than I anticipated. What time is it? Okay. It was funny, Australia, when the pandemic got declared, one thing they said was mandatory was liquor stores. Yeah, same here. Same here. Liquor stores never boomed greater. Never boomed greater. And why is that? And this is what they did. They closed tobacco shops that sell tobacco. Most to get good cigars, you're not gonna get good cigars at liquor stores. I mean, they'll have a few, but tobacco shops have, the best choice. Like this one, to get good $10, $12. I think this one was $8. This one might have been $8. But you want a choice of good tobacco. And they closed the tobacco shops, which made no sense. How are you going to keep the liquor stores open, but you close the tobacco shops? And the only way your tobacco shop stayed open is if you sold gas. But this is what they've done, is they destroyed small business. Let's be honest. They've destroyed small business on purpose. And the rich have never been richer. That is one thing that's a fact about all this. The rich has never been richer. They want to push this stuff when normally it takes 10 years plus. And now they want to push this shit on people. And we're supposed to be happy about it. And hey, guys, it's easy to get the cards. It's easy to get the back cards. It's easy. You can copy them off of Facebook. And I've been telling people, I'm like, okay, you making it easy. They ain't computer done yet. They're done just like when you take a child's in. They write on the shit. So all you really got to do is look on Facebook, copy it, and then write that shit. So if you ever got to show it to somebody, that's all they doing is writing this shit in there. It's no natural database. It ain't come to that point. Right now, all they call for is that paper. So you want to get your passport or whatever, and you got the shit, they'll put that shit in your passport and you could fake all that shit. That is how dumb people are on Facebook. But thank you, Facebook, because I've been copying the shit out of that shit, and you can make them. And plus, you can ask friends that had that shit, and they'll show it to you. And you're like, okay, what I made is the same thing. So it ain't digital yet. But you can tell its agenda. How does something take years before they let it put it into people? Like this one, Johnson & Johnson. They said 45,000 people have tested this shit. How long would you think it would take 45 people to test? That's a lot of people. So how long a period did it take you to see that 45,000 people? Now they're so desperate, they say just one poke might be enough. Military don't want the shit. The doctors and nurses don't want the shit. They don't want to administer the shit. There's a reason that they're getting so much pushback. And then the propaganda. Well, so many people, now people are starting to agree. That's all propaganda lie. You know people, most people still against that shit. So hold out as long as you can. I take concentrics. And my doctor said, well, you might want to hold off. When you get both of them, hold off and take your shit about. We want to see what that shit does to you before you take the concentrics. What kind of advice is that, y'all? What kind of advice is that? How many people did she practice with that had take that shit and took it all and it didn't do nothing? There's not a large amount. That is why they're saying take it a little later. Let's see what this does to you and then take that later. That's no kind of goddamn sound scientific advice. That's agenda advice. That's agenda. That's why I done printed me up some little cards. When I see them again, here you go. Where'd you go? So-and-so. I went so-and-so on this date. Oh, okay. Can we get a copy? That's all they want is a copy of the shit. How you feeling? I'm just telling you how to respond. I feel great. The shit was great, guys. It was great. But this is how you attack the shit. Because right now we can fake it until we make it. It was like when these dumb motherfuckers changed the hundreds. They changed the hundreds thinking that it was going to be harder to copy. And they was the easiest hundreds to duplicate in the history of money. When they first started making them big face things, it was the easiest bill to counterfeit in the history of money. And they called themselves doing it to make it harder. And in fact, they created some shit that was easier. So these motherfuckers ain't bright as you think. They made money that is much easier to counterfeit. And you will still see that money floating around every now and then. Well, guys, in closing, I just want to say take care of yourselves. Love yourself. And I'm not saying this to be cold, but I'm saying this as a way of you got to look at things. If no one else loves you, love yourself. Because in this simulation, that's the most important part. Because one thing that they don't control is your energy fragment. That seems to be alive and well. That is the one thing that seems real out of all this. It's like just a little spark that's in you somewhere. You keep that spark. And so no matter what condition they put you in, just know that spark, there's nothing they can do about it. As long as you don't sell your soul to that shit, you don't agree to the machine, nothing they can do. Nothing they can do. See, that's the free will. The free will is you free to not fuck with this machine. That's free will. That is their course, they say. You are free not to fuck with this machine. You are free to be separate from the machine by that little spark inside of you. That is what's free. Not to decide some shit. No, your energy is free. It is separate from this thing. And if you don't accept this bullshit they saying, you don't sell it. What do they tell you in the Bible? Motherfuckers they sold for 13 pieces of silver. That's still going on today. Motherfuckers will sell their soul for some silver, some gold, fame. Oh, I should do some dirty shit. Let me see if I can find it. I was thinking about, let me see if it's right here. Let me see where I hid it for myself. Let me see if I can find this shit. I shouldn't do this dirty shit, but I'm going to do it anyway. Let me see. Let me divert these lights. I shouldn't do this shit. Let me see. Okay, there's no names. You want to see some non-human motherfuckers? These is two non-humans, both of them. There we go. These people ain't human, y'all. Her or her man ain't human. I didn't pay attention to the man, but he ain't human either. She definitely ain't human. But now I look at her man, neither is he. I don't show it too long. Them some non-human motherfuckers, y'all. So replay it and watch that shit again. You want to freeze to see who they are. Now, I ain't putting their names out there, but them ain't human. I ain't get that her man wasn't human. I didn't pick that up. But then the other day, I was like, what the hell? Neither one of these motherfuckers is human. Matter of fact, I didn't have that picture before. I just copied that recently. She put it out there. Then there's two non-humans. Only started getting rolled out here this week. Our prime minister supposedly did it on TV. Wow. The movie Songbird, they was faking the bracelets too. There you go. I forgot how to love myself. Don't love yourself, Jeffrey. We all love you, so love yourself. I mean, this is the thing. This is the thing. Like even Timothy Freak tries to give people an understanding is you have to love everything. That is one way to fight this thing. Is you love everything. Now I ain't saying being in love, eros. I'm not saying that. I'm trying not to sneeze. But I'm saying every moment you really got to love, because the moment is all you really have. If you look at yourself as the energy fragment, the moment is really the only thing. The moment is really the only thing we really pay attention to. I guess reading a little bit about this book, I'll get into that a little bit. The moment is the only thing that really, you being human and your brain working, the main thing that makes you human is that you can recognize the moment. You can put your attention into the moment. So the moment is all you have. And so you have to find that moment where you just love yourself, or create the moment where you just love yourself. Because you can't love anything else unless you love yourself. Now, for the people that own pets, you can't really love the pet unless you love yourself. It would be harder for you to take care and love that pet. These little motherfuckers act like they my children because they know I love them. My female cat gets on my nerve, but she knows when it comes down to it, I take care of them. And that's again, you see all these motherfuckers that's just a simulation, love them all. And because that makes them realer. And the machine don't want them to be real. But if you look at all this simulation as you love it all, it raises your vibration. And the witch is right when she says love or above. That is one thing she says that is right. Love or above. And so love starts with loving yourself. I mean, I've got that pimp mentality. I got a beer belly. I'm damn near 60, but I still got that pimp mentality where you listen to me, I can get any woman I want. You just listen to me. That's getting over the first hurdle, just listening to me. You take the time to listen to me, I can talk to anybody. I got that pimping in me. Most men do. Now, I'm a complex motherfucker. I know that. I am very complex. It's hard for people. One girl I was dating, I knew the shit I was laying on her, that I was trying to see how she gonna deal with it. Because people was trying to get us together for years. And I told her some shit and I knew, I was like, yeah, she ain't gonna be with this shit. And I didn't tell the shit to make her, to do the magnet, put her away. But I was just like, this is who I am. And if you can't deal with all this philosophy, then you really can't deal with me. And it's okay. I still love her. I still wish her well. Our people, I was with her mother the other day. Her mother and my mother are friends. I was with her mother the other day. Her mother's helped. Her mother brings food down here that I pass out. They have a connection. And, this young lady, I think my son has some blankets she gave us, or some quilts. No, I'm not saying anything bad about it. But if you can't, when I get to rapping and you can't, my rap is too much, then that tells us both something, that I'm too much. But if she ever needed me spiritually, I'm open. Again, like I mentioned, I was with her mother this weekend. We was at my mother's. They had a little thing for my mother. So, but yeah, I better go. Wait, let me see. Love is a high vibration. Where do gold teeth come from? Where do gold teeth come from? From real gold. Love is a high vibration. Feeling there's gotta be a balance Yep, because love makes you blind. That's Eros. The Eros will make you blind. The Eros will make you blind. I'm just talking about just love. You love in life, not in love with shit, but just love in life. And not really, Jason, they look fake. Mark Zuckerberg's the non. Oh, okay, I was a little slower. Okay, I understand. Where do gold teeth come from? Gold comes from somewhere outer space. Now, as far as the simulation, it has to dig in to move. So I'm thinking some of that digging is probably real thing. But gold comes from outer space. They claim that in the Milky Way they found planets that rain diamonds. They claim they want to mine asteroids. I mean, they showed that Netflix has a movie about that where the motherfuckers go around the universe mining asteroids. That's the me or the my though. Only it needs raw material. So gold comes from they really haven't figured it out, but it's sometime here crashed, blew up or whatever. This got hit with all these asteroids and shit. It created gold. Gold ain't from Earth. Ain't nothing on Earth that create gold. Gold, all the gold on Earth comes from somewhere else. All of it. Not one, the gold dust and everything. Now something blew up around Australia. A lot of gold's coming out of there. Alaska, a lot of gold still coming out of Alaska. It's in South America. South America, you see gold. But they lied and talking about gold was out in California. They were just trying to get Europeans to move out there. That was all a lie. So, messed up with women because they see me real honest. Times, great wisdom, always. Thank you. I'm saying, who was the first to wear them? Shit. They found people in Peru with gold teeth, diamonds and jewels and jade in their mouth. So that goes back a long time. I'd say most countries practice that. Lose teeth, put it in there, put a gold tooth, or you crack one, put the gold over it. And it's a mixture. It ain't, gold is soft. If you had real gold, it's soft. I don't know if many people fuck with real gold, but if like a lot of times why they, and I don't know, people, did they even notice this, but you see old cowboy movies when they would get gold to see if it was real, they bite it because you can bite into gold. If it's fake, it's hard. Like pyrite is hard. Like this pyrite or fool's gold, this is hard. I bite in this, it'll break my teeth. But if this was gold, I could bite in it and it would leave a tooth mark in the gold. Gold is soft. Real gold is soft. So there was civilizations that knew how to, make alloys, gold alloy. That's what we really see. Like when you look at gold chains and gold jewelry, it's alloys of gold. Like now, look at the purity they give you now. They pushing 10 karat. They pushing 10 karat gold now. That's really not real gold. I mean, it ain't gonna turn in anything, but you only got 10% of the gold. Rest of it is alloy. So why would you waste your money on something like that? That ain't really gold. It's better to get 14. It is the best to get 18 karat gold. But definitely don't buy that 10 karat gold shit because it ain't really gold. I mean, it's supposed to be you can't buy a 9 karat gold, but I've been ran across that shit. You buy an alloy, you ain't really buying gold. Now, if that's all you can afford, I'm not putting anybody down. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying don't get 10 karat gold. Gold is one metal that fucks with your mind. That helps your mind. There's one thing that actually helps your mind. Whereas silver and copper work internally. It's like when you wear silver, it won't tarnish. It won't tarnish. The longer you wear it, this chain, I wear it every day. It ain't tarnished. I've had this chain for 5 or 6 years. This chain hasn't tarnished one day. This tarnishes. Around here tarnishes. So I have to wipe this off from time to time. But this is less against my body. The chain is always moving against my body. So, but silver gets shinier the more you wear it. That's why a lot of people opt for white gold, because white gold is nothing but silver and gold mixed. So they won both. So I'm saying, who was the first to wear them? Yeah. So again, in the Americas, you find the omen work with gold. You find it all through the Americas. So to say what first beings discovered it, I can't really say. Can't really say. But it's been worked with for thousands and thousands of years. Been known about. It was just, again, when they came to America, Cortez and even Columbus and them, they loved gold, but the omen and the Mayans loved jade. To them, jade was worth more than gold. It was the Europeans that had the hunger of the gold fever. So, well, this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it, each and every one. As I've always stated every day, I don't care if one person watches me. I'm going to bring it as much as I can bring it, everybody. I appreciate the comments. I try to answer honestly as I know. I don't know everything. I try to answer as honestly as I can. I mean, again, sports shit is all speculation, but we point out the fixing. You know, all this is changing in our environment. Change these fucking sports. Quit taking advantage of people. Make them do what they do in wrestling. People will still love them. That's what you should learn from wrestling. Just because they said wrestling's fixed, it's never been more popular. So it hasn't hurt you to say wrestling's fixed, but they're scared that people will abandon football, baseball, and basketball, hockey, Olympics, if you tell them it's fixed. That's what they feel. And perhaps people will. Perhaps people will. And maybe that's why they continue to lie. So again, thank you all. I appreciate it. And, you know, one way or another. And you know what? I'm going to say this. For those of you that really would like to get with a group of people with depression, I think it would be great for TalkShoe. We can get on TalkShoe. We can even get on this without publishing it. And if people would want to, the TalkShoe might be better because we all could talk amongst each other. And I've had a couple females look for a support group. And so if someone would like, we could get together with people that you know need help or some extra support. And I would be open to that. I would be open to that, using this platform or TalkShoe, and just have a group of people and we talk about our own experiences and support that you need. So I would be open to putting that on this platform. The young lady I talked about, I reached out to her to say that I want to have that platform as well. And maybe this is something we can make grow on this is wellness, this is health, this is mental health. Because believe it or not, it may be somebody, you know, like they say, we Kevin Bacon, we 7 people from knowing everybody. That tells you in this illusion too. I mean, this is how much illusion is. I met somebody that saw the Tsar in Russia. I met somebody that knew Joe Louis, who knew Jack Johnson. I met people that knew Rocky Marciano. I mean, I'm saying we are 7 people from knowing almost every motherfucker in the world. That shows you in this illusion. First time I came across that shit, like this is definitely some illusion shit. And so, as you know, I always stop with Eshawn. I always give his poetry. I'm not a New York rapper or a LA gangbanger. I'm just an old school Detroit crack slinger. I know that I'm never going to go to heaven. That's why I always carry my 357. This has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. Y'all, thank you. See y'all tomorrow night till we meet again.